I've got a fever, and the only cure is more dead angels.
今回は僕のマックだ。
お前の腕前ってのはその程度だ。敵撃墜逃がすかよ。俺の獲物に手を出すな。
作戦完了、作戦終了。これより帰還する。ファイヤーファイヤーファイヤーファイヤー。帰還するなよファルコ。
お前
さあ今だそこはあいやみんな見ていてくれ。 真の戦いはこれからだ。今日も生き延びることができた。ファイターテイテイテイタハミッシュ作戦終了。帰還する。
その手出すな。
E ボタンと上下左右で必殺技が使えるよ。
なんだ今さら操作説明が。
レーダーをよく見るんだ僕。周りをよく見るんだ僕。何をしとる僕。早く。
よりは黙ってろよ。
フォックス後ろだ。もたもたするな。
自分の感覚を信じろ。
Oh, fellas, I hate to say it, but I don't have the energy for this kind of stream, I don't think. Unless you can help me build it up. I exerted so much of my strength on the keyboard. I don't even know how to use my mouth anymore. Hopefully you guys, you gamers can teach me. But maybe I could teach you something too. Do you guys want to be educated by an uninformed, under a rock girl? Yo, so I decided to change the category from being a game to just talking because I feel like if we talk about this subject, I could maybe go too long. Maybe I'll burn out even faster than I think, you know? But we had a lot of good discussion in the Dollhouse Discord. I want to talk about journalism. How IGN is based, actually, and everything that journalists have ever said is correct. Like to listen to you yap. Thank you. Also, hi everybody. How are you guys doing? Happy Wednesday! With the power of static electricity, I will power you up. Oh my goodness, static electricity. It hurts. You ever want to pet your cat and then you just electric shock your own cat by accident? It's like, and they won't understand. They'll just think, like, why did you use your psychic powers on me? I didn't do anything to you. How, you can't, like, hold on. Sorry, Mr. Whiskers, you don't understand. Like, static electricity is when you rub your hands against carpet and then pet your cat. It wasn't like a voluntary attack. You know, they're not gonna listen to that. Robin, hi! I luckily haven't done that to my cat in a while. Cats can hold a grudge up for 6 months. But if you butter them up, maybe we can speed up that process. I don't really take journalists seriously in general. I just read the title. Based. Everything's based, for the record. Like, we're all united by hate, I feel. And, you know, maybe we don't hate the right things. And that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna try to teach you what to hate and how to hate correctly. But I think we should be super inclusive and say that every opinion in here will be based. Kinda. Well, maybe. Maybe. And we can also decide who the #1 hater is and then crown them. You get a crown. I'm gonna make a super funny joke. Ready? You're gonna get a Burger King crown. Ha 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 ha. Do they still do those? I haven't seen a Happy Meal in a really long time. A really long time. I know Happy Meal's McDonald's. That's not my point. My point, nobody's correcting me. I'm just correcting myself. Because somebody's gonna actually pumpkin. I'm saying in general. I haven't seen Happy Meals or whatever. What are Burger King ones called? Okay, so McDonald's is Happy. So what's Burger King? The Jester meals? Get it? Because, like, King, and he's bestowing upon you gifts. But what rank would you have? You're a peasant paying $5. So you're probably a jester, right? Hello, Newcomb. Prince Banquet. What's that? Kids menu. What? That's insane. What kind of name is that? Is that what they did in the 80s? Hi, Millennial. How are ya? I miss the Burger King's Kid Club with Kidvid and IQ and Wheelchair Boy. I do not know what that is. I miss the creepy cane that they used to do. Like, you guys remember the cane, right? Where it was unsettling. He was, what's that thing called? Where, like, Kigurumi? There's, like, it's the one where you're wearing a creepy anime mask kind of thing. But it looks cool. It's just a little bit creepy. What is that thing called? Kigurumi? There's also, like, there's another thing that sounds similar that refers to wearing little pajama type things. I'm talking about the creepy mask thing. Anyway, he had this kind of soulless kind of look to him, and I feel like they knew that too. And they played it up. That was good times. I'm just waiting for a news article when somebody robs a McDonald's wearing a Burger King mask. That would be great. Burger King is Western Kigurumi, so I was right about the word. It's Kigurumi. Thank you for popularizing hate and educating people of how to properly hate. No problem. Hold on. We gotta pick our waifu of the day. So let me do... Hold on. Oh, thank you for the sub. Hi. Hold on. We gotta properly encompass our hate. Let's see. I gotta find the right guy, though. Oh, here we go. Alright. Alright, we just have to encompass this energy. And we will be truly hateful. And we'll have our own kingdom where no one can question our statistics. I hate anything that was made by Kotaku. Oh yeah, Kotaku. I kind of forgot about them. Depends on what you mean by hate. What else can hate mean? It means hate. I hate the world and people in general. Does that count? Yeah? Legally distinct Space Marine. That is correct. Legally distinct. You can't do anything to him, Space Marine. Are we hating game journalists in general? Not exactly, actually. Because as it turns out, journalists are based in right, actually. So I remember whenever that IGN review dropped for Mario Luigi Brothership. I saw the rating and I'm like, whoa, a 5 out of 10, that's interesting. And I would see people be like, what the fuck? How could IGN do this? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's Mario. Cringe journalist as usual. When is IGN gonna go away forever? And I was just kind of like, that's a really interesting number to give. I mean, you can be somebody who doesn't like Nintendo and not give it a 5. So I'm like, what happened? Oh, Bearsona, I'm gonna crown you the #1 hater and time you out. I'm gonna teach you how to properly hate. I will fix you, but to be fixed, you must be quiet. Okay. Fake news, no. No fake news. Actually, IGN is based and correct about their hate for Mario Luigi Brothership. So, ever since I heard that it wasn't well received by them, I'm just like, that is such an interesting number. I wonder what they did wrong. And I did see a little teaser of what they said. They said something like, it misunderstands what made the original great. And I'm like, that sounds like a sentiment I have about a lot of things these days. Like, alright, 40th new installment of an IP that doesn't understand the heart of the original. That's kind of like a ongoing, consistent problem, right? But I didn't look into the review. I actually did not read it or anything. Because, this might be hard to believe. I have never cared about journalists. Ever. I've never really been one to glance or read them, to be honest. Which I think probably a lot of people are that way as well. Which is why I can't fault people for like glancing at a review and judging the review without actually reading the review. But if you don't investigate things, I guess you leave yourself open to being wrong. So there's people that are like, IGN's stupid for giving this game, of this perfect game that I haven't played, a low score. They were wrong because I played that game. And I don't think it's good. I was actually really, really depressed because I thought I would at least enjoy it for what it is. I wouldn't trust YouTubers per se exactly, because it's the same issue. Like, there's all kinds of issues with, like, journalists and stuff like that, like, bad journalists, or the, they were paid for good reviews or stuff like that, or they're, like, biased, and maybe they'll give a game a sort of negative review, but they don't want to go too hard because they don't want to burn bridges. Like, that is an issue, but that also goes for YouTubers as well. Like, you know, publishers, they didn't just, like, stop at journalists. They were like, oh, shit, video reviews are the hit thing. Okay, let's buddy up with streamer / YouTuber. And I don't fully fault, like, especially if you're, like, a lone individual YouTuber, and let's say that you befriend some developers, I can understand feeling a little bit awkward and bad to give, like, a scathing review, so I kind of almost understand, like, holding back a little bit, but it does create an issue, right? But I don't think that's always the case. Never trust YouTubers? What are you talking about? I don't know. What am I talking about? I see, like, if a game gets a good score, they were tipped off. If the game gets a bad score, oh, publisher didn't tip them enough, huh? Currently playing Brothership right now, and my feelings are mixed. I did get further than you, but even I'm like, I don't want to talk to the NPCs, and I don't want a tutorial sheet stopping me every so often. Also, when can I have hammers? I dropped out of the game pretty quick. I feel like, because that's kind of how, like, we started talking about this earlier in the Dollhouse Discord, is being able to tell very easily if a game will vibe with you or not. And usually a counterpoint to that is like, well, you won't know how a game is unless you play it. And it's like, well, I don't want to buy every single game, you know? I have to have a filter, right? And I don't want to constantly, like, pay $60 or $40 or, you know, Steam sales, I guess, where you could get them for cheap. I don't want to keep buying these games and then being shocked when I don't vibe with them, you know? I feel like sometimes you have to do a little bit of research or watch a little bit of gameplay, and I think that if you know yourself very well and know what you want from something and what you don't want from something, I think you can kind of get good enough to where you can spot things and assess things very quickly, if that makes sense. And even then, sometimes I won't even research at all. Sometimes I'll still buy a game, not researching it, hoping that it'll be good, right? Hoping that I'll like everything about it. It's always a gamble, right? No matter what you do. Like, you might risk getting a game and not liking it. You might not get a game, and it turns out that it would have been literally your game of the year if you did get it. But I feel like we have to create a system for ourselves and stick with it, right? Hate modern Ubisoft, they ruin their IPs. That's most modern publishers, right? Also, hi Crimson, how are you? I'm confident to say nowadays that any AAA game is better. I kind of feel that in a gut kind of feeling. Like, there are some that are good sometimes, but I feel like what is considered really, really good by today's standards and would be really well received by many people, even a majority of people, I feel like I tend to just be that guy that I'm like, oh, no, I don't like this. And people are like, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean you don't like Resident Evil 2 Remake? It's good. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. I don't like it. And it sucks having to be that way, you know? I don't want to, like... It's not actually fun to hate. Like, it is fun to hate, but it's not fun to hate. Because hating means that you're miserable all the time. Hating means that you feel alienated all the time. Hating means that you can't buy a game and just have fun. That, no, you get a game and you just keep noticing everything that's wrong about it, and it keeps bogging down your experience, and boom, you wasted your time and you're now mourning some IP that you feel like you've lost. It sucks. stick to Steam reviews. They tend to be accurate sometimes. That's the thing with, like, journalists and gamers. I don't feel like they're that different. I feel like you can't trust what any particular person says. Like, there's plenty of journalists that have really bad takes. I know there's situations to where, like, a journalist will review a game, and it's like, wait, you don't even like this genre. Why did you review this game? You don't even like this genre. I don't know. But there's plenty of times to where, like, a random gamer, you know, of the people, will have horrible takes too. So I really can't listen to any group exactly. You have to kind of, more carefully curate who you can trust and who you can listen to. Thus, like, you'll have, like, a group of friends. Like, let's say I don't know, let's say you have 10 friends. You're not gonna be in sync equally with all of those 10 friends. You'll be able to spot, like, oh, I kind of vibe with friend 2 and 5 a lot. So if they say something, I probably might end up agreeing with them if I get so-so game, you know? But even then, if you find somebody that you're super in sync with, you're not going to be 100% in sync with them, right? There's always going to be, like, a situation to where, like, your most trusted friend or source, they actually hate the thing that you like, and you're like, what? So it's just kind of tricky. There's no such thing as a perfect system, I don't think. But I just know I've seen Steam reviews that are just stupid. But I've seen also Steam reviews that are really well thought out, thoughtful, and explain things very eloquently. And they'll still get, like, hate comments of people that are just, fuck you, man, this game's the best. And it's like, okay. I mean, the guy just took his time to explain his point. And you're like, no, it can't be right in any regard. Because, I mean, some people are different. Some people just enjoy the thing. Hello, Sloth, how are you? Now, this will be kind of like a hard stream to structure, because I feel like it can get a little bit chaotic. I'm a little bit chaotic. But whatever happens, I'm sure we'll get into good stuff. What do you think about RE2 Remake's police station parts? I do feel like it's the best part of the game, but its atmosphere is not great, and I feel like the police station somehow feels shorter than the police station in the original RE2. And that sucks. So you have your RE2 remake and your pretty good section that's now shorter, and now you have a longer sewer section, and your sewer has even less atmosphere than the police station. And then you have pretty cool labs, but again, they're kind of short and they feel shorter than the original. So it's a bit of a bummer. If it has to appeal to everyone, it appeals to no one. Your favorite game will be someone's most hated, and that's okay. Mass appeal is just boring. Yeah, like, it's funny how, like, Resident Evil kind of dealt with that for a time, and maybe they still are to a degree, but it's like, well, what happened with Resident Evil? Well, Resident Evil had Resident Evil 4, which split the fan base, brought in new fans, and now Resident Evil fandom consists of people who like the old games, more slower-based survival horror, and then RE4 fans, which are more action-y horror fans. So it's like, okay, well, who do we please now? They didn't know. So with 5, they continued down the action route, and then they got a little bit of pushback, but it still seems like it was financially doing well, so then they did Resident Evil 6, which is still pushing action, but they're like, well, what if we did, like, 3 campaigns, and we'll do, like, a campaign that's kind of like survival horror to appeal to, like, the old fans, but they didn't commit. They didn't commit with the Leon and Helena campaign. It wasn't really, like, survival horror. It was still action horror. But in the end, nobody liked the game. They were trying to please so many people with that game, and everybody's just like, man, this sucks. They should have just focused on being, like, a good action game, but I don't think it was, like, good at all. The issue is perceived authority magazines used to have was because most readers were little kids with no money to access everything. Now that the market is older and can see more stuff with our own eyes, reviewer bullshit is much less tolerated. Yeah. RE2, I assume you mean the remake. RE2 remake is good, but after the first playthrough it's repetitive, though game-changing mods make it a lot better to replay. I mean, to a degree, I feel like just because a game is repetitive doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Like, when I play RE2, like original RE2, I do tend to do the same things in the same order each time, but I guess there's a little bit more freedom to do things in different order. I feel like RE2, original RE2, is a little bit more, a tiny bit more streamlined than Resident Evil 1 was, kinda, if that makes sense. Did you watch the Exposing Bias and Game Review Scores video by Whale Fair Walrus? It explains some of my how can these people be this stupid type questions. I have not. I kind of like am in my own realm. I don't really know what's going on in the world of journalism. Just what kind of like, how do I say? I'll be under my little rock, and then every now and then some information like reaches under my rock, and I'm like, huh, what's going on? So for today's example, it's like, okay, it's Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, where I played the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that review where everybody was being really angry at that guy. I think it was the game wasn't even officially out, and they were dunking on him, calling him stupid, blah blah blah. I read the review, literally agreed with like everything that he said. He covered it very, very well. I wanted to read it out, actually. Now remember, one thing to keep in mind about journalism sites, magazines, is that IGN is not some weird flesh mound. IGN, I think, is a bunch of different people. I think every journalist site is. So sometimes you gotta pay attention to like, well, who specifically on the team wrote this review, you know? Because like, maybe I won't agree with everything that IGN pumps out. Like, for example, I think IGN gave Resident Evil 2 Remake a 9 out of 10. Nah. I'd give it a low 8. But with this score, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, they gave it a 5 out of 10. They didn't even hold back. They didn't try to do like, oh, let's give it a 7. You know, it's a perfectly valid game, but it's got issues. They're like, no, fuck this game, 5. I respect that. I feel like in a pure emotional level, I feel like I would give it a 5 too. 5 or 0. I'd just give it a 0. No, I give that game a 5 because I dropped it. If it was a 7, I would probably still want to keep playing it a little bit, but I didn't even want to keep playing it. Now, if I stuck with the game and played it to completion, which I still can do technically, I can't return that game. I bought it from Best Buy, I think. Best Buy doesn't even act like I bought the game from them. I have the email with the order number. It still acts like there's no orders in the system from me. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just stick with this game. But let's see. IGN is owned by a single big company, and IGN owns now almost every still existing game website. Isn't that, like, against the law? I thought monopolies weren't allowed. Aren't monopolies literally not allowed? Why do I constantly hear about all the monopolies that are going on all the time? But for the record, the stream title is just nonsensical shit posting. I just wanted to talk about like game reviews, games, etc. in general. Just using IGN as an example. So let's see. So some of you guys were here for Mario Luigi yesterday, right? You didn't tell me that the game was too loud, and you didn't tell me that there was constant pop and static. I'm just saying. Why don't you want to help me? Unless you're doing it out of hate. Okay, so review is written by, and you better not be fucking mean to this person. I'm not gonna say their name. You're gonna be mean. Don't bully people. Okay. Mario and Luigi Brothership Review, a disappointing revival that misunderstands what made the Mario and Luigi series great. Okay, so if you've been living under a rock for the last year and are craving a Mario RPG, I live under a rock. I mean, I'm open to another Mario RPG, but I wasn't actively like hoping for one. Then I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that Nintendo has put out 3 of them in the last 12 months, including fantastic remakes of Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The bad news is that Mario and Luigi Brothership, the only fully original adventure so far in this plumber role-playing renaissance, is easily the worst of the bunch and an incredibly frustrating return for a series I hold dear. Apart from its action-packed, turn-based battles, it fails in almost every way to recapture the magic of the best Mario and Luigi games, while also clinging to their bad habits like ridiculously chatty dialogue, overbearing hand-holding, and boring runtime pad and fetch quest. So, I only ever played Superstar Saga, so I don't know how the following sequels went. I was mildly interested in checking them out eventually. The reason why I personally checked out Brothership is like, oh, they're transitioning it to like console 3D now. I guess I'm interested. I'll try this. But I don't know, like, he does get what he means about boring, chatty dialogue, but I didn't think the dialogue was boring or chatty in the first game. I actually liked the dialogue in the first game. Because, I mean, they're RPGs. Even though I tend to like, oh my god, the dialogue, and I just start mashing skip. If it's an RPG, I'll actually try to read them. Because I know that sometimes it's appropriate. Alright, anyway, I'm going back. Couple that with shockingly bad performance issues. I didn't get to see that. That distract at nearly every turn, and the nearly 10-year wait for a brand new Mario & Luigi game hardly felt worth it by the time the credits rolled. Let's see. Having the Mario Bros. Sail a giant island ship hybrid to uncover and explore new islands is a great idea on paper, but in practice, navigation boils down to a pretty unspectacular ocean map where you pick the next destination you want to sail to and wait as you inch your way there, and the results are ultimately meaningless. I have never felt any sense of discovery remotely approaching that of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, or even of the small open ocean segment of Paper Mario: The Origami King. That was the Wii one, right? I think that was the Wii one. I think people didn't like that one. Hi, King. Let me get back to where I was. I instead felt like a kid in the backseat on a road trip, just wondering if we are there yet. Let's see. Speaking of kids, several choices in Brothership make it feel like baby's first RPG. It probably will be for plenty of kids out there, so that isn't inherently a bad thing, but this is the rare game starring Mario that feels designed specifically for ages 6 to 12 rather than ages 6 to 66. The tutorials and dialogue are constantly holding your hand. For example, almost any time you encounter a new area, the camera slowly pans over to your objective and slowly pans back, followed by an excruciatingly long explanation from a new assistant named Snoutlet, who basically spells out exactly what you need to do. Now, I hated that character. I don't remember if I brought this up too deeply on yesterday's stream. I really don't like, oh, we got silent pro tag, sorta, but hey, what if we have a cute sidekick character that does all the yapping for you? No, I actually kind of would prefer, like, other characters to just talk at Mario and Luigi, and they just talk in, you know, their vague Italian. Origami King was on Switch? What? Then what the hell did I play? What the hell was the Wii one? I remember playing the one on Wii, the Paper Mario on Wii, and I didn't like that. But, I did not like the, characters in what's it called? Brothership. I thought maybe there was something wrong with me. Like, oh, no, my brain registers this is supposed to be charming and quirky, but I just felt annoyed whenever I was reading the dialogue. But anyway, I'll keep reading what he said. The dialogue repeatedly reminds you of the overarching story and objective. You know what else does? 4 Kids. Yu-Gi-Oh! Did that. Constantly, over and over and over. The amount of times Merrick would say what his goal was. So you, the 5-year-old, never forget. This game does do that. I couldn't walk for 5 seconds in this damn game without somebody telling me where I'm supposed to go. Or the camera forcing me to look at something. It just hurts my momentum. I didn't like that. Anyway. Dialogue repeatedly reminds you of the overarching story and objective, and Brothership spends far too much of its already bloated 34 hours runtime rehashing the same tired notes. I lost count of how many times new characters were shocked to learn Mario and Luigi were on a mission to reconnect all of Concordia's islands. Concord. Plus, the large font size means only roughly a dozen words tops can fit in a single dialogue bubble, so you're always mashing the A button to get to the next line in these insufferably long scenes. I'd be more forgiving of the overwhelming amount of text if the humor and story were on point, but unfortunately the writing just doesn't land. The Mario RPGs all attempt to strike a humorous and whimsical tone to varying degrees of success, but Brothership's comedy mostly lies in repetitive bits and intentionally unfunny puns and dad jokes, where the punchline is watching Mario and Luigi stare blankly in awkward silence. Snoutlet's primary joke is telling everyone he meets that he's definitely not a pig, while the main villain's bit is not remembering anyone's name, which is another unfunny joke that's beaten into the ground well before Brothership Brothership stops returning to it. Again, this game lasts for dozens of hours, and these jokes never evolve or get any better. And that's what kind of confirmation that I was getting from this review, and what Lobotomy Bunny told me, where I basically get the feeling that no, I didn't drop the game before it got good. I dropped the game once I realized what I was going to be dealing with for the entire duration of the game, and I ended up being right. Apparently, it doesn't ever stop feeling like a tutorial. The game supposedly just stays the same the entire time. Now, you might be saying, well, Pumpkin, you should still give it a chance and play it to the end yourself. Like, you shouldn't just, like, listen to what somebody tells you, right? It's like, I don't know. I don't want to play this for 34 hours to find out. I want to trust a few people, you know? If we speak of dad jokes, did you hear about the archaeologist that got fired? His career is in ruins. I didn't hear about that. Hope he's okay. Did AI take his archaeology job? Oh, I can't believe it. If a game sucks, stress isn't worth it. Yeah, it's like, I got a strong filter. It's like, I can just tell, like, okay, I don't think I vibe with the core of this game. I doubt it's gonna change. Mario Luigi Brothership. What was Merrick's goal again? Merrick wanted to rule the world in the dub. He wants to rule the world. He wants to take Yugi's Millennium Puzzle. He wants to rule the world. Wants to rule the world. Wants to rule the world over and over and over. Okay, so he said, the story spends far too much of its bloated runtime rehashing the same tired notes. 7TV emotes shortcuts. I do not know what 7TV is. Is that some old thing? Brothership makes an admirable attempt at telling his story about the importance of friendship and connections and the dangers of isolation. Alright. But it's another area where the idea is better than the execution. The writing is just so unoriginal, and I didn't get attached to any of Brothership's large cast in the same way I have with so many characters and partners from past Mario RPGs. I enjoyed the dialogue in the first game. Some of that may come down to character design. I don't agree with him on this. I thought the character designs in this game were cute. They were like little wall outlet people. He said, I love how Mario and Luigi look in this cartoony art style, and many of the enemies look great too, but the friendly power outlet-shaped residents of Concordia just didn't resonate with me. Granted, it's nice to see original characters back in a Mario and Luigi game after Paper Jam toadified everything. But these designs are just a bit too rudimentary for my taste, and their blocky look clashes with the style of Mario and Luigi and other characters and enemies from the Mushroom Kingdom that shows up. I don't know, I thought they were cute, personally. All the islands you visit are very generic, too, with familiar ice, fire, and desert settings you've seen a dozen times before, each backed up by music that's solid but honestly forgettable and probably won't be top in the charts in Nintendo's new music app. For a series that once had microscopic versions of Mario and Luigi roaming around Bowser's internal organs, Brothership's arenas felt disappointingly safe and hardly worth exploring. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because personally, I just kind of expect a desert, ice, fire world, spooky castle, whatever. I can't even get mad, I just expect it. The music, though, whenever it wasn't being whimsical, like, it was okay at times, but definitely not as good as the original soundtrack. Now, I don't know if I'll read all of this, but here's where he talks about what they did to Luigi. So he says, Luigi takes the L. As a longtime fan of the series, though, I would have been able to tolerate a lot of technical roughness if it meant I was getting what I came for. Brothership isn't outright bad in a vacuum, but it's particularly disappointing because it fundamentally misunderstands the best element of its own series, specifically in how it completely mishandles Luigi. In past Mario and Luigi adventures, Luigi follows right behind his older brother, and you platform and solve puzzles with the two of them as a unit. A to jump as Mario, B to leap as Luigi. When they split up, you seemingly swap back and forth between the two. I like that kind of shit. Like, some people don't like, for example, Resident Evil 0, because they don't like the character management between the two. I like that shit. Luigi and Mario were the same way in that regard. In Brothership's overworld, though, Luigi feels more like an NPC ally than a second protagonist. I don't like NPC allies, personally, so... He follows Mario at a disconnected, awkward distance. He can jump on his own without the press of a button, and many puzzles revolve around simply ordering Luigi to automatically do something for you. This approach is no worse than follower characters in other RPGs, but it loses the unique style of previous games and feels so watered down as a result. The odd thing is that certain areas seem like they were designed for the old style and are now rendered completely pointless. The worst instances are platforming segments where Mario needs to jump on the red platforms and Luigi follows suit on green ones. Once you've moved Mario where he needs to go, you just twiddle your thumbs as Luigi does his part automatically. There's no fun in watching half of the puzzle get solved by a computer, especially when this series was traditionally built on gameplay that made the most of having two equal characters at your disposal. There are even segments where he will actively work against you, like when you need to step on numbered panels in order. But Luigi bafflingly doesn't wait to step on his number before you've stepped on yours. This leads to completely contrived, unbelievable sequences where you need to beat out your own partner so it doesn't fail the puzzle for you both. Like, I don't like that. I mean, if they want to have, like, Luigi have his own free will, why don't you make it a co-op game instead? It would be more fun to, like, try to argue and coordinate with, like, an actual person than to, like, deal with an AI. I remember I was dealing with that issue yesterday, too, to where Luigi just wasn't really doing what I want him to do, and it's because, oh, Pumpkin, you have to learn how to work with him. I'm like, I don't want to learn how to work with him. I want to control him myself. I don't see the problem with that. Let me see. And yeah, like, they took away half of the fun. Half of the fun of the game is, like, button input. Like, in this game, yeah, you can still make Luigi jump when you want to, but you no longer need to. So if Mario is trying to jump up a ledge or a step to progress, you don't have to worry about also pressing it for Luigi. And I swear, did they do that because they thought, like, maybe we were annoyed at managing Luigi? Because, I don't know, I thought that was, like, the fun part. It's extra gameplay, right? But I guess sometimes people, like, think stuff like that's tedious. Like, if something could be argued to be tedious, then it gets streamlined until it doesn't do that anymore. But then it becomes more boring. Hello, Xylo. How are you? Somebody did say dad jokes. Journalist did. So this is a game where the following characters tell you to put the round object into the round hole, but without any interaction whatsoever. Kinda. You're not supposed to just be in control of Mario, you're supposed to be in control of both of them. Yeah, that's what made them fun. Like, and it wasn't hard. Like, alright, you want both characters to jump on a ledge or something. You would just hit A and B at the same exact time. There's no problem with it. I really don't know why they would change it the way they did, except if they thought that it was tedious. Or maybe they wanted to do something different, but I mean, I wouldn't call this innovative different. This is just kind of like lame different. But you can kind of, well, actually no, he'll get more into it. So he says one of Brothership's main new mechanics is called Luigi Logic, but it's essentially just a lengthy animation where Luigi has an epiphany that I had to sit through a double-digit number of times across the campaign. Generally, it results in Luigi just telling you how to progress, often by using Mario Bros. Moves like turning into a UFO or rolling into a ball, or worse, he just does it for you. Brothership feels stuck between adhering to the old style and trying something new, and it fails at both by landing uncomfortably in the middle. And yeah, whenever you try to do like too many things at once, you don't do either of them that well, because you're just so split. There are some classic feeling puzzles where the brothers actually work together, but they're generally very simple, boring setups revolving around basic objectives like carry this here and hit that button. It goes back to basics and never moves beyond that. The one place Luigi Logic excels in is Brothership's great boss battles. I did not get very far to be able to experience the boss battles, though, so I could be missing out. Whenever I was playing it, though, it felt like they dumbed down the combat. Maybe... I have a theory of what it could turn into. Like, so in the original game, you have like your normal like regular baby jump button, and that's all you can do. You just jump. And then later on you learn a hammer move, like a basic hammer move, and then later on you use a basic hand move. For Mario it's fire, for Luigi it's electricity. And then you have systems to where there's like battle points, where I don't know if you'd call it a currency. I guess it's a currency technically. It's a currency that you manage, and that's how you do the super strong attacks. But it requires a currency, and it requires an item for you to replenish it. So, you know, you have to use it wisely and everything. And there's a whole cool system where the super moves are done with QTEs, kind of. And the more currency that you put into it, I think the max was 4, the easier it would be to pull off those QTEs. But if you wanted to be more conservative with your like battle points, your little currency, you could use less, but it would make the QTEs harder to pull off. But that's how you get the big number damage. The way this game started off, though, is that your basic jump button was having both Mario and Luigi doing super amazing combos from the very start, doing 15 damage right away, which felt wrong to me. But maybe what they were going to do is, okay, your basic attacks do 15 damage, but then your super attacks that maybe I would unlock later, those will do 35 damage. Maybe that's what it was going to be. But I didn't really want to stick around to find out because I hated the character so much. I hated the hand-holding. I thought the Luigi mechanic was very boring. Everything was just pulling me away from wanting to push through to see what the good in the game would be, you know? They got rid of hand attacks after Superstar Saga, and Bros attacks were dumbed down to items. Kick a shell back and forth at an enemy, bounce Mario off a helmet with a sprint that Luigi wears, feed Luigi a lot of food. Oh god, the feeder fetish, oh Jesus. It really is Nintendo. And have Mario toss his fat ass onto enemies. So they got rid of that shit? I mean, that's a bummer. Attacks are dumbed down. What, did they think it was like too complicated a system? I will admit, as a kid, I don't think I fully understood the system exactly. Like, I'm like, whenever I'm trying to do a super attack, you can hit your bumper buttons left and right, and then it would make that number go from 1 to 4. And I'm like, what's this shit? I don't understand. And I would still get through the game anyway. As I got older, I was able to kind of understand more clearly what the systems are, but it's not the most complex RPG in the world, you know? Hold on, let me see, I'm getting a message. Oh, I'll adjust that soon, love. Well, let's see, where were we? Okay. So he talks about the boss battles, says, the combat as a whole is awesome, and the ideas Luigi comes up with during these boss encounters, like using a nearby fountain to knock down one of the earliest bosses, make the most important fights feel appropriately grand. I mean, would it be that interesting, though, if, like, I mean, does that mean it's just going to be a prompt where Luigi's like, I have an idea, look, interact with this, and then it'll give you the ability to interact with it? I don't see how that's fun, though. Isn't that the game just telling you, look, his weak point's right there, aim for the eye? But again, I didn't play far enough to experience the boss, so I don't know what to make of it. Unlike the mindless puzzle solving and exploration, there are surprisingly some well-challenging fights, including 1 or 2 I had to retry after carelessly choosing not to heal, which was a welcome obstacle. If you don't want a challenge, there is an easy mode, though it's confusingly gate-kept behind failing a fight 2 times in a row before you're able to lower the difficulty. Then after that specific battle, the difficulty returns to normal. And if you run into another boss that gives you trouble, you have to lose twice again before it lets you change to easy mode. I played on standard difficulty the whole time, except for the purposes of testing out easy mode. So it didn't really bug me, but it's a bizarre choice that feels at odds with Brothership's apparent obsession with making sure you otherwise feel never stuck. I think that's fine, I think. Like, kind of like blocking you from choosing easy mode right away. Forcing you to be like, hey, why don't you try normal and see how you actually fare, though, before you automatically go to easy and just assume that you can't do normal. I feel like that's fine, right? They should have added demon door hands for accidental losing a life. Wait, what do you mean demon door hands? I checked what the game wants me to do where I'm at currently. Talk to NPCs. Well, the first game technically wanted you to do that too. There is one point to where it wouldn't even let you progress without telling you that you needed to talk to all the NPCs in an area. Oh, the Devil May Cry doors. I know what you're talking about. Let's see. Turn-based combat is Brothership's one consistent bright spot, and while it's more akin to Superstar Saga's basic approach than the crazy screen-stealing Luiginary attacks, is that what it's actually called? That's kind of funny. In Dream Team, it's honestly everything I wanted from a revival of the series. Mario and Luigi fight with their signature jump attacks, hammers, and a combination of new and returning bros attacks. So they do have bros attacks, which are flashy special moves that can deal big damage if you properly time all the right button presses. The battle animations are fantastic and feel like an ideal translation of Superstar Saga's 21-year-old sprite work into 3D. I would agree with that. I feel like it looked great. Like, this game is beautiful. And combat is mercifully the place where performance issues are the least noticeable, as battles rarely suffer from frame rate dips. What's weird is I never got prompted with a patch whenever I opened the game up for the first time, put the cartridge in, there was no update to download. And I personally didn't deal with any frame rate issues. The only issues I dealt with was weird staticky audio, but that would be my Elgato. Learning enemy patterns from Brothership's large roster of dangerous foes is always satisfying, as you have to memorize their tails to figure out when to hit the dodge button during their attack animations. One of my favorite enemies, blah 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 blah. Of course, the battles are also guilty of fumbling Luigi's role, albeit not nearly to the same extent as the exploration. He still performs all combat, but... Oh, this is where he gets into the weird thing I was talking about that I thought maybe I was being crazy for. Hi, Machina. So he says, Luigi still performs all combat actions with the B button, but now you inexplicably select his moves with the A button. This may sound like a nitpick, but trust me when I say that as somebody who's been playing Mario and Luigi RPGs for over 20 years, it legitimately took me hours to rewire my brain to select Luigi's attack with A, and then swap over to the B button to actually do it. It's a confounding decision that tries to solve a problem that didn't exist, while also going against how every prior Mario and Luigi game has ever played. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, for Mario, his moveset is A. You use A to jump for Mario, and you use A to navigate through menu stuff for him, right? For Luigi, navigating through menu stuff is also A, but if you want to actually, like, damage an enemy, like jump on them and hit the button at the right time, then that's B. So one button for Mario and then two buttons for Luigi. It was very confusing. I don't know if they were trying to fix a problem or if they just didn't think about it, like an oversight. But I thought, like, maybe I was misremembering or something. Maybe I'm just having trouble adapting to this, and maybe the original game was like that too, but I forgot or something. But this other guy who I don't know from IGN seems to agree. IGN based? IGN validated my opinion. That means that they're based, right? Hold on now. Hold on now. IGN Bayonetta 3. 9 out of 10. IGN is cursed. Cringe. We're renaming the title. Title changed. IGN #1 hater, journalist, or cringe. Also re-debut next Monday. Command social Ko-Fi. Alright, sorry guys. Sorry, my recovery arc begins. IGN is actually cringe and run. And I don't have to read the Bayonetta 3 review. See, the thing is that if you want to judge a review, I think that's perfectly heckin' valid. But isn't it more fun to judge a review after you've played the game yourself? Then you can determine if that person's opinion is cringe or based. I hate Bayonetta 3. So if I see somebody giving that a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, then I know that they're wrong. They're factually wrong. I played that game too. No, I thought IGN was based. What's this whole thing going on about something? Somebody said that IGN gives everything a 7 out of 10 or something. Which to me, that seems like that should be how it is. Everything does feel like a 7 out of 10 these days. So doesn't everything deserve a 7 out of 10? Everything's a 7 out of 10. Not gonna lie. But they didn't give Bayonetta 3 a 7 out of 10, so They're cringe. Nah, third. You told me. You told me that every single IGN review is 7 out of 10. Bayonetta 9 out of 10? That's, oh, cringe. Let's go back. Let's see. The smartest new wrinkle in Brothership's combat are battle plugs, equipable modifiers that impact Mario and Luigi's power, defense, and more. Comparable to if Paper Mario let you swap out what badges you were wearing at the start of each turn. That sounds kind of cringe. Want to attack a whole group of enemies at once? Equip the Kaboom attack battle plug to deal minor damage to every enemy adjacent to your main target. Or if you want to deal some extra damage to one target, the surprised iron ball battle... Oh my, it's a whole sentence. Battle plug lets you drop a spiked iron ball on the enemy you attack. To make things easier, some bonuses chain together. If you have both of these battle plugs equipped at the same time, you'll drop an iron ball on every enemy impacted by the shockwave of damage. Like, that's just badges, right? The first game had that. Never forgive them for what they did to Alien Isolation. Oh no, did they give Alien Isolation? Oh god. IGN, Alien Isolation. 5.9 out of 10. Now, I'm not Alien Isolation's #1 fan or anything. I don't exactly like, hide and seek. Oh, if the enemy finds you, you instantly die kind of thing. Granted, you know, if you do have the flamethrower, that's basically how you can get the alien to fuck off. I don't remember if, like, I don't think gunfire works on the alien at all. I think it has to be a flamethrower. Alien Isolation did have a lot more going on, though, than just the xenomorph. They had human enemies, and they had androids. I hear some people actually don't like that they had that variety, but I like that, actually. That's way too low, and I'm no fan of the game. I'm curious why they gave it that review. Let's see who... This is reviewed by... Is this a different human being than who reviewed Mario? Yep, it's different people. What? Alright, let's see. Battle plugs. So I read mostly what he said. Here's his verdict. Mario and Luigi Brothership is an incredibly disappointing return for an RPG series I've always loved. Apart from the combat, it fundamentally misunderstands its own past success and completely fumbles Luigi's role in puzzle solving and exploration by making him more of a pain than a partner. The story is simplistic and unoriginal. Its attempts at humor fall flat, and the overly chatty writing holds your hand to a ridiculous degree. It's not a total disaster, as the excellent flashy turn-based battles are some of the best the series has ever had, but... Oh, hi! Thank you for the raid, Para! Oh god, they're here for the IGN stream. We're talking about how IGN is based, actually, but then I found out they gave Bayonetta 3 a 9 out of 10, so it's cringe, actually. Thank you for the follow. I was very motivated because I hate Mario and Luigi Brothership, and IGN validated my opinion. Thank you for the follow. Everyone was dunking on IGN. They were right, though. This one individual man was right. Thank you for the follow. But thank you so much for the raid, Para. If you guys have to head out, though, don't sweat it. I know that you're probably doing a long stream. Hello, thank you for the follow. And thank you for the follow. A very technical stream. Like me, it's kind of like a stupid person trying to talk about journalism and video games. So, I guess it's you could dissect, could you give my stream a review? Oh god, that would be horrible. Thank you for the follow. Imagine if, like, there's, like, a VTuber journalist website to where their job is to just watch streams and give them reviews. Are you debuting a whole new model on Monday? Yes, I'm gonna be my sexy, mature form. I'll show a little sneak preview. It is next Monday. I didn't plug that because we started talking about IGN very poorly. My stream title at first was IGN is based, but as I said, I found out about the Bayonetta 3 and then I had to call them cringe. Hold on. It's loading arena. This is my alternate upcoming form, where I'm a BDSM nun, and I have fangs. I'll be debuting this Monday. Hold on, where's my reference? Where's my... Oh shit. Here we go. this next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. 5 new costumes. My human form. Slide and lure. That doesn't matter. And in a room, and we're gonna be playing Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry. Alright, I'm switching back. I had that idea for a YouTube channel, but thought raiding people was cringe. It is cringe. I feel like it would be a horrible idea that, it's opening a can of worms. Cause then you'd be like, what exactly qualifies you to give ratings exactly? But what if they just gave everybody 9s out of 10s? It's a very horrible idea. That's what makes it funny. Maybe somebody will try it one day. It'll go really bad though. Double check. I would just end up giving everyone a good rating because they are trying. See, that's nice. Give everyone a 7? Yeah, give everyone a 7. I feel like a 7 would be appropriate for me. 8's my favorite number, though. I like 8. I think 8's nice. I don't know about the context of, like, games. But in terms of, like, I just like it. I think it's neat. Worms? Worms Armageddon, that is. Wait, when did we start talking about worms? Hi, Lobotomy. You're at least an 8.5. Aw, thank you. Wow, that's almost a 9. How can I improve? Give you a 10 because you're too hard on yourself. I'm not. Listen, I'm just a realist. I'm just a realist. I say it how it is. Everything is mediocre. Can I borrow that idea? You want that idea of reviewing VTubers? Wait, why did I even come up with that rule anyway? Or why did I come up with that idea? I forgot the context of my own joke. Don't make a journalist site reviewing VTubers. It's not gonna go good. Oh, another can of worms. Okay. You're so right. You'll get a 9 or a 10 with the new model. Yeah, because BDSM. Not saying that was the right call, but I guess they messed up using the B button for Luigi because of how the switch buttons rotate to have... Oh, that's so confusing. Hello, Augmented. Augmented, do you like gaming journalism? What we could do is maybe we can rate journalist reviews, actually, for this stream. Because after, how do I say? I had a lot more steam when I was typing up a storm in the Discord and on Twitter. Because it's easier for me to write on the fly than it is to speak on the fly. Because when I'm writing on the fly, there's not really eyes on me. There's no timer. I can take my time to really think things through. Whereas if you're streaming, you just kind of have to blurt things out. I can't, like, actually sit here in like 5 minutes of awkward silence while I try to carefully curate how I word things and in what order and what structure. I don't even write that well, to be honest. Do you like games journalists? There are only a few good ones. I feel like there's definitely good journalists out there. And more importantly, there's journalists out there that will vibe with you personally. Same with, like, friends. Like, did we talk about this earlier to where there's so many opinions that are kind of floating around. You don't really know who to trust, right? But I think over time, if you feel around, you'll start getting a feel of like, okay, I tend to agree with this person's opinions. I'm going to treat them as a buffer to help me in my decision on what I'm going to do. Am I going to skip this game or am I going to try this game? Still like, oh, Yahtzee's great. I think like Yahtzee's cool. I don't always agree. Even if I find somebody that I like, I will not always agree with every single thing that they say. Like, you would be shocked you'll like read something that somebody tells you and you'll take their word for it, and then you find out on your own that, wait a second, they were completely wrong. Like, for one thing, there was a game that came out recently. I don't remember what it's called. I'm never gonna play it. I don't have a stake in it. I'm just living under my rock, and sometimes information gets under the cracks. And there was some game that came out, and people were condemning it because they thought the writing was bad. So a person that I liked was basically just saying like, oh, it's gamer bros. They just hate inclusion, and they're so foolish because the game's always been inclusive, this and that. And I'm like, okay, I guess gamers are silly dum-dums or something. And then I kept getting recommended videos for that game. So I clicked the video and saw a comparison of like the inclusion from the old game and from the new game. Hi, Nemcro. Thank you for the raid. How are you guys doing? We're talking about journalists and reviews. It's a very chaotic, unorganized stream, which is why I don't really like to do just chatting very often, because I'm not very skilled or good at it. I'm very unqualified. I had this idea a long time ago. I had it. I talked to Mame and Mina about it. I thought, what if we did like a conference kind of roundtable podcast style stream where we talk about video games and have it structured and have preset questions and all that. But I'm like, I don't even know if I would actually be able to do that well. So I perpetually sit on that idea. But anyway, anyway, not any idea. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So I looked at the comparison, and basically in the old game, they had inclusivity. They had a gay character who basically talked about his experiences and his frustrations with his situation. And it felt pretty natural and fitting of like the universe that they're supposed to be in. So I'm like, I see no problem here. And then the new one, it's like a Tumblr girl inserted into some medieval fantasy world. And it was really distracting and kind of weird. Yeah. I figured once I got into more detail, people might get an idea of what I'm talking about. But, I wish I could find that video. I'd have to search it later. But I listened to what the new one's like. And she's like, I'm non-binary.
Names of
and just sits down at the table. And the mother's like, huh? And it felt really... Oh, thank you for the follow. It felt very weird. Like, I don't think the idea is bad. I felt like the execution was bad. And I'm like, this must be what people's issue is. That it comes across as awkward and stiff. But the person that I was here ranting about, the people that were upset about this, they didn't mention this at all. They just said like, oh, they're haters and they're uneducated about the series or something. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's an uneducated thing. I think that the new one just does a thing lamer than the original did, right? I feel like that's fair. The mother is like, what does that mean? It's like, I feel like if you're trying to write a medieval fantasy kind of thing, and you want to get into that kind of subject, isn't there like a better way to write it to where it makes more sense for the time it's supposed to take place? That is the fucking issue. It's not authentic, but if you complain about it, you will be insulted. I hate that. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's not fair to dumb down criticism. I mean, it can be fun to dumb down criticism, but it can be kind of dishonest at the same time. Or maybe it's not intentionally dishonest, but maybe people just... they don't know how to process, like, your complaint. They just, I don't know. It's like they don't think you have an argument, so they just pretend that you're just evil or something. I don't know. The new one has Marvel movie writing. Our favorite. Marvel movie writing is just so beloved. Have you ever wanted experience the pain of an awkward family moment in the middle of your fantasy games? Like, I feel like they can do that. I just feel like she shouldn't sound like she's literally from 2022. Like, here's... Thou's daughter, what would thou like for dinner? And the daughter's like, a cheeseburger. Like, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Abigail mentioned that the old me would be scared to say my opinion on anything. Because I get scared to talk about, like, stuff like this. Because I see, like, kind of radical type people all the time that will kind of attack you if you challenge certain things. On every side, for the record. I have to also mention that. I'm trying to be a little bit more open about talking about certain things, but within reason. We're not going to become a Gamergate conspiracy channel or anything, unless that's what you guys want. If you sub enough, we can consider that. I just particularly like when real-world stuff is inserted into setting that it doesn't fit. I feel like if it was time period accurate, they would say something like, I don't feel like a boy or girl because they shouldn't have a concept of that stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like it would be like the, because I talked about this with Mina, like, Austrian. I basically said it would make more sense if she was like, thou do not feeleth like that is correct for me. And the mother's like, what does thou mean, daughter? Daughter, I'm not sure. But daughter, I do not feel like I am. Something like that. I feel like that would be completely fine, right? I think, like, I feel like it's just presentation that's the issue in a lot of situations. Not so much the idea itself. Although some people don't like the idea at all. Good luck with the re-debut. It looks like it will be great. I'll try and make it. If you can't, though, don't sweat it. The thing is that the mom even tries to tell the character that their people have a word for that, and the character is just like, no, I'm not. Okay. I also saw, like, more clips of what that character in general is like, and I just... Why did they decide to write them as so... I apologize if I say she for that character. But they seem so unlikable, like they're written to be the most unlikable person in the planet. Like, I guess that's just... Are they supposed to be a teenager? I guess it's authentic to how teenagers can be, but they don't seem like a teenager from, like, medieval ancient times. They seem like a teenager right now. But a lot of it has to do with, like, just how they talk. And, like, maybe medieval people, maybe Shakespeare did do that. Maybe Shakespeare would go, oh, my God, this draft of Romeo and Juliet's just not turning out okay. Are you for real, Shakespeare? Yeah, this sucks, dude. What's the topic? Oh, God, I don't even know anymore. I'm basically talking about how, how do I say? It's good to try to find people who you vibe with so you know to trust their opinion. And that it can help you, how do I say? It can help you kind of, buffer if you're gonna get a game or not. Because you can't just buy every single game, right? So... You're like, oh, this game's out. I wonder how it is before I buy it. Let's see what certain people are saying, and then it can give me a feeling of what to do. Obviously, it's still good to try to research things, but if you don't want to spoil too much, which I typically don't want to spoil myself too much, I do like quick glances. But then I was saying that sometimes the cost of just taking somebody's word for it is that they might misrepresent something completely. And that if you look into it yourself, you'll find out, actually, this person is completely wrong. Like, for example, I did not like Evil Within 1 at all. I really wanted to, but I didn't like it. Watched a review where a guy also didn't like Evil Within 1. And I'm like, what? That must mean anything that he says I'll agree with. And he's like, actually, Evil Within 2 is fantastic. It's so much better than the first. The first one's not good. And I'm like, okay. And then I bought Evil Within 2. I'm like, well, I don't like this either. But I also didn't know that person. I just kind of like, oh, here's some review. He seems very well spoken, good vocabulary. What's the term I always use? Thank you for the follow. What's the term I always use? I always talk about regarding myself. I'm not very... Something about having a limited vocabulary. Constantly researching most games before I buy them because I want to know what I am investing my time into. I can feel that. They keep treating fictional characters as real people who have to be super fleshed out and set a good example instead of treating the characters like story elements or symbols of an abstract idea. Is eloquent the word that I typically use? I could have sworn there was another one that I would like to use. Teenagers have a particular way of talking and dramatized and complained about trivial things way back during the height of Egyptian civilization, even according to surviving text. Teens have been annoying since the dawn of civilization. I could definitely believe that. I just think that, like, a teenager from many years ago would speak and talk differently than how one would now. Like, mannerisms, you know? Mostly harmless. Hi, how are you doing? What's got bad writing? Everything. Obtuse? No. Teen brains are still growing. They're basically psychos. That's actually true. When you're a teenager, I mean, it's not the same for all of them, but your empathy stat isn't very high, so you have to heckin' level up as you get older, and then you max out that empathy stat when you're older in your 20s. Let me think. I got it, the eloquent. You're a psycho. You're not empathetic. Well, you could be a sociopath. Hey, Mina, are you here? Do you know what term I'm talking about regarding, having, like, a low vocabulary? Where you can't eloquently explain yourself very, very well. Articulate! Yes! Yes! That's the word. Articulate. I think part of it of late has been the churn and burn out within the industry, leading to less experienced writers writing for maybe more important things than they should. Can you elaborate on that so I can make sure I understand? Luckily for me, like, I do live in a bubble. A lot of these games that have, like, these controversies are not even games that I play. Like, I play Capcom. There's not really much issue when it comes to, like, writing or characterization in that, I guess. It's just simple kind of whatever stories with characters that they keep bringing back from the dead and just forcing them to go on another adventure for their entire lives, because this Resident Evil universe only has 10 people in the world, I guess. The more experienced writers are leaving the industry while less experienced ones are coming in. Yeah. Sadler in RE4 Remake. Oh, he's so boring in that. It's so sad. Inarticulate, to be specific. Yeah. And those 10 people are mostly awesome. They're awesome and everything, but I just think it's weird. Like, from Resident Evil, I just want, like, a solid game, a nice setting, good atmosphere, and a decent story. I don't need anything crazy. And then everyone else is like, okay, but what about Billy Cohen? What about him? He needs to come back. Why? Well, we gotta find out what happened. What happened to him? There's no story in Resident Evil. It literally just became, okay, everyone's a terrorist now, and everyone wants to make a set of Hunters and Neptunes. And then they're kind of too scared to, like, make new characters a lot of the time. So they're like, okay, we gotta bring familiarity. So we're gonna bring Chris or Leon or Jill or Ashley or somebody back. Like, they're like, oh, what about Sherry from Resident Evil 2? Oh, now she's a BSAA agent. And Wesker's son. You know, Wesker's dead. What if we just give him his son? It's like, eh. Not to say that they don't make new characters. Like with Resident Evil 7, they did make a new character, and I liked that. Wasn't sure how I felt at first about everything, but I think that was a cool decision. And then they're like, oh, don't worry, Umbrella and also Chris is here. Oh, okay, here we go. I'd rather a company make a new game rather than a remake. Remasters I understand, but sucks because sometimes remasters suck. But changing stuff in an old game is just censorship. Yeah. So with Dragon Age Veilguard specifically, it was in development for so long and reworked so many times that a lot of the original devs and writers were no longer with the company the last several years of development. Rough development, I guess, can, like, create, like, a mixed bag game. Mentally and physically, I'm still in 2005. I'm perpetually just, like, living in the 2000s. Not completely closed-minded. Like, I can like new things. But I just feel like a lot of things don't do what I like well enough. Like, everything feels kind of like, compromise. I always say compromise. Like, a new Resident Evil game comes out. It's okay. It's got elements of the old games that I like, but it's got elements of modern games that I don't like. So I'm just kind of like in this in-between period of, like, never being quite fully satisfied. Just being like, yeah, that's okay. Danebug. I know what you're talking about. I saw that in... I saw somebody comment about that. About, like, that. The 90s, 2000s were just a better time in general for entertainment. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Veilguard. I'm not familiar with that series. I just have many passionate opinions about a game I'm never gonna play. Which, yeah, I can be guilty of that, but I don't get, like, too emotionally invested in it. The only reason why I brought it up, though, is just, like the example. Like, I heard from somebody thing about that game, I checked out the game for myself and found out that person was wrong. And then I'm like, what the fuck? You didn't represent that honestly. Hold on. My headcanon is Billy and Carlos joined up together. I mean, if they want to do that, like, I'm not gonna, like, not get a Resident Evil game because they bring back the same characters over and over and over again. As long as it's a good game, I really don't care if the story's bad. Am I gonna watch the George Romero Resident Evil documentary when it comes out? I would like to know more about this. He's making a documentary? Why? Does he like video games? I got this book a while back. I think it's called Itchy Tasty, because reference in the Resident Evil file. I got a book a while back, where it's like a kind of, not a documentary, interview book kind of thing. Never got around to reading it. I think I put my laptop, no, I put my, PC monitor on top of it at one point. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's somewhere in my shelf. I should read that, though. Hold on, I'm scrolling back up a little bit. If I missed anything anybody said, don't be afraid to repost or purple text me. No, I know you don't mean, I know you don't mean, the, id Software guy. That's John Romero, right? George Romero is the one that did, Night of the Living Dead, right? That was what was surprising me. He's doing a documentary on Resident Evil. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, Resident Evil 1 is... Oh shit, I'm bleeding. Resident Evil 1 is inspired by, that movie, I think, a lot. I'll be right back. I gotta clean up the blood. Who is a certain authority? I'm back. Wait, did somebody do something naughty? Oh? Oh, I'm okay. Oh, huh? Did something get kind of crazy? I'm gonna sneeze. I sneezed. Yeah, I was bleeding. I'm still bleeding. It's okay. Oh, no problem. I thought he was naughty. I'm like, oh shit, what'd you do? I tend to be pretty forgiving of bigots and radicals here. So if you're a bigot or you're a radical, this is a safe space for you. Kinda. Which film inspired Resident Evil? I missed that part. A film that inspired Resident Evil. I don't even know. Resident Evil movie's so weird, isn't it? I dig it, though. What? You're not? You're not a bigot? You're not welcome here. You must leave. Come back when your intolerance is better. Hi, Lemon. We're doing pretty good. I didn't read fully Romero's script. I saw like aspects of it to where it's like, oh, he was wanting to change things as well. Like, I think he was wanting to make like Chris or something Native American or something. He had unique ideas. I don't remember what else he did, but I just remember being confused. Like, why are you changing things? Like, is there a specific reason for it? Because I thought like how it was like fine. Let me tell you my opinion on elves. All I know about elves is that they want to fuck a lot. That's all I know about them. But how are you doing, Lemon? We're still talking about journalists, right? And reviews and stuff. Because like I said, I got all this out of me in the text chatting. But I was curious, like, you guys got somebody that you listen to, right? When it comes to opinions on stuff. Whether it's, like, just listening to opinions for fun, or, like, these are the people that you listen to decide if you get a fan or not. Or who do you guys like, out of curiosity? For me, I don't watch a lot. I watch, regularly, Mandalore, Electric Underground, Jim Sterling, and I don't remember if there was anything else. Mina, do you remember if there was anybody else that, I like? Oh, Red Letter Media. They're fun. They're very fun. I haven't watched them in a long time because I burnt out from watching them. They used to be all I ever watched. You don't understand. That was all I watched. To where I ran out of Red Letter Media stuff that I hadn't seen. So I would just re-watch the same videos over and over again. As a dwarf fan, I am obligated to have a love-hate relationship with elves. I get that. I get that. I watch mainly people talking about the historical context to retro games. I feel like that could be fine, too. Just basically, who is it that you guys like to listen to when it comes to people who talk about games? Not, I mean, you can list streamers if you want, but I mean more like video essayist type people, reviewers, journalists, etc. Oh, Ross Game & Dungeon. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Isn't he the one that did that really, like, oh, it kind of stood out. Randomly, he did this thorough review of Sonic Heroes. Used to watch that guy. I always love when I see that reaction. Like, that. I always think that that's what, like, third player looks like, because I think he uses that a bit. Oh, right. I don't watch him on the regular, but, what's his name? Yahtzee. Yahtzee's good. Oh. Total Biscuit passed away, right? Nakey Jakey. I used to watch a few of his videos, and I thought he had pretty good takes, but he was a little bit too energetic for me, which is funny coming from me, because I'm pretty... I have ADHD, you know, myself. I'm not saying that's what he's like. I'm saying that's what I'm like. But he is a little bit hyper for me. I liked his video. To clarify, he is the bouncy ball guy. I liked his take on, like, Rockstar games. If they're paid to give an opinion, they can't be trusted. Word of mouth is the only thing that matters to me. True, but sometimes I can't trust word of mouth. I trusted word of mouth. Like, word of mouth of Bayonetta 3 at some point was like, oh yeah, this is the best game. Oh, this is the second best game. Bayonetta 2 is the best game, though. I can't trust anybody. I'm all alone. Crobcat. Oh, I love Crobcat. Yeah, he's good. He's very good. I at first was thinking of, like, reviewers and essayists. I guess Crobcat is one, but his style, he doesn't really talk in them. He's able to kind of convey his opinion, though, without saying anything, and using what other people say, though. Or, like, clips and comparisons, to where you can pretty easily guess what he's talking about. Mega 64, yeah, Mega 64 is really good. But they're more, like, shit posters. I guess they have, critiques sometimes that they give. That's good. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I hope I still have it downloaded.
He was once the greatest.
You're the best reviewer there is. Your game reviews help people decide on what to buy.
You've written a lot of good reviews of a lot of great games. People trust you.
He was once their leader.
Dude, he gave it a 9 out of 10?
He gave the game a 10 out of 10. Trust this guy.
Until one day.
Reviews are in. A lot of 9s and 10s. Of course, we don't want to know what you think.
He said the wrong thing.
Uncharted 3. 8.5.
He gave it an 8.5? That's too low.
8.5, that's it? Do you even know what you did to the Metascore?
Who does this son of a bitch think he is?
You reviewed it lower than the original BioShock!
What score did you want?
That review was an obvious cry for attention. You must have been joking.
He reviewed it lower than Ocarina of Time. That's just not possible.
What about the Metascore?
You ruined the Metascore. You broke my heart.
I've never played the game before, but I know you're full of shit.
That's what they were doing to the Mario Luigi Brothership review. That was heckin' valid and correct. That game sucks. That game sucks. Although, if you liked that game, I'm very happy for you. Like, I don't want to, like, that's why I hate talking about how I actually feel in an abrasive way, because it could be alienating to people that are nicer to me, who, like, oh, wow, Pumpkin, I like that game, though. Like, I like Brothership. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not actually edgy. I'm really soft, and I'm so happy for you. I don't like saying my real opinion. I don't want to hurt anybody. But sometimes it's fun to be radical. I don't know.
The whole internet's off at you.
Look who it is, boys! Old Mr. Deduct a point and a half.
Ooh, 8.5 is a great score. Not great enough.
It's almost like the video game companies didn't
Favorite
even
aspect
pay
of the
for your
presentation
review.
is the
Almost
atmosphere.
like you're being honest. I don't like that.
Just wait until I tweet about this.
We don't need to give every game a 9.
Hi! I just want to be on equal footing.
Okay. Sometimes
Like,
it's all right.
if I insult the thing you like, you just gotta insult the thing I like back. But you should be prepared for me to freak out. Actually, Pumpkin, fixed camera and tank controls are bad, and they're gone because everyone agrees, and they're never coming back, and you could go fuck yourself. And then I say to that, yeah, whatever. My tank controls, my fixed camera, oh, it sucks being outnumbered. The thing that I like will never come back because the world is against me. Actually, Pumpkin, original Resident Evil 4 is bad. Actually, the remake is good. No, it's not.
We gave Final Fantasy 13 a perfect score. Why?
Did they?
For Final Fantasy 13. I bought that piece of shit because the reviews were so good. That's why I want to kill you.
I find it very odd when I see a site give a bunch of 9s and 10s and then they get crazy harsh on some stuff. Yeah, it all depends on who's doing it, right? Or it could also be like, okay, fellas, like, look. We're working with this company. You know that you can't give this anything lower than an 8, right? Huh? I don't know, man. This game actually sucks. No! They're not gonna work with us again. And we need this connection. You're gonna have to... You can critique them, but you're gonna have to sugarcoat it. And You can even be kind of harsh in the right input. Make that number high. Because that's all some people are going to pay attention to, that number. You cannot give this company anything lower than 8. Okay. And then other games are probably like, oh yeah, who cares about these devs? I don't even know who they are. Yeah, give it whatever you want. That is my uneducated guess as to how the world works. Look, I live in my room and I don't go outside, and also I'm not educated or anything. So you should believe what I tell you. I know how the world works. You know, there's this streamer I watch who loves a lot of games that I dislike or find annoying or boring, but I keep watching because she has fun with them and I can enjoy those awful games through her eyes. Yeah, I mean, that's nice. I don't think I typically watch content of people who don't radically agree with me, though. I think I would be a little bit nervous to watch, because I don't want to be the killjoy in somebody's chat to where they're like, I just really love the RE3 remake, I'm just having so much fun. And then I have to control myself. Because I don't want to be that person that's like, actually, this game sucks. And you're stupid for liking it. And then everyone would be like, okay. And it'd be like, oh, I don't know. I think it's important to be considerate of like where you are, your environment. But here is an environment of, well, so how do I say? Here we are centrist, we are inclusive, and we are not inclusive at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know how well that's gonna mesh. Does chat seems to get along here for the most part, right? I can't trust gaming journalists or YouTubers. Majority of them are incredibly stupid and have takes that have nothing to do with what they're reviewing. Then you also have journalists that do reviews, just reviews, and it's just them not even doing their reviews at all. They probably, like, it is a job, unfortunately. Like, you have to meet a certain quota. So you have to mass review games, and I mean, I can sympathize that might not be fun to actually feel like that pressure. Like, all right, you got to review at least 5 games a week. Hi, witches, how are you? There's a phrase that my papa used to say back in the year of 1944. Birds of a feather flock together, indeed. But sometimes it's good to have, like, people who think differently than you be around so you can have a rounded look into the world. Having less than a week to review a 100-hour RPG is probably rough. Do people actually have to do that? That's gotta suck, because then you have to rush a review out. You don't even have time to, like, fully slow bake it. I'm pretty good. I'm talking about stuff with friends. I can definitely put up with a game I dislike if the streamer is enjoyable. What I can't do is if there are annoying sounds or really, really bad music in a game, I have like some kind of sensory autism that makes me go into like a fight or flight, like I'm going to punch a hole into the wall if I have to listen to this sound or music, and then I have to mute the stream because I can't listen to the game. That's happened a few times. Like, one of the times was, Mina was playing, I think it was one of the Shadow Tower games or one of the Kingsfield games. And there was a sound one of the skeletons would make. And every time I would hear it, I would go into this, like, ugh, I want to escape my body. Or I think I get triggered by the Eden sounds in Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I think that drives me crazy. But I had to play that game. I was playing that game, and I had to deal with it. Good game. Surprisingly, kind of janky. When I went back to it after not experiencing it for a really long time when I was a kid, I was like, wow, this game is not what I remembered it being. It was kind of fun, though. Minecraft Eden sounds haven't annoyed me too much. I think the chewing noises have that precise purpose, though. What, to, like, drive you crazy? I get that certain pitches mess me up hard. It's just, I got strong OCD about certain things. Personally, Pumpkin, I think you should just be you, and if people can't handle it, they can watch someone else, but that's just how I would do it if I streamed. I'm a people pleaser. I would like to please everybody, except my enemies. Actually, I would also like to make my enemies happy, and then they could become friends. I remember, like, what I heard of the Silent Hill 2 remake. I don't remember if the original Silent Hill did this, but Silent Hill 2 remake had lots of, like squishy sounds all the time. And I was just like, I don't want to listen to this. It's not making me, like, fearful. It's just making me angry. Is it supposed to, like, be gross sounding? Like, to me, it's not gross. It just makes me angry. Love squishy sounds, but that's because I like gore movie stuff. I guess, yeah. It just depends. There was this RPG on Steam and Switch that was super charming. It had some of the best concepts in a while, but the battle system had a loud, piercing beep that made it unplayable once you got to a dungeon. There was something Mina was doing in Stalker 2, where they were in like a shop or dealing with what do you call them? They're like bullet sounds, bullet shaking sounds. Mina, what was that? That was driving me crazy. I had Mina in the other tab, and I'm just doing something. I kept hearing that sound coming up over and over again, and I was thinking, like, how could Mina not be irritated by this? And it's like, turns out Mina actually was irritated. The inventory sounds. It was probably only bad because you were excessively doing a bunch of things in the inventory, right? Like a lot of management. What you said before about inclusive and non-inclusive, I'd call it tolerance. It's as society should be. You try not to offend, but you are honest, and people try to be aware that you are not saying stuff with malice and do take the hit with understanding. Seems to me it's like that here. That's what I try to do. I remember back in school, like, they would always say tolerance, be tolerant, learn tolerance, and I'm just like, what is that even, what's that word mean? And now I know what it means. But I guess how do I say? I think we all have different opinions here. And I think I understand people that could get sensitive about certain things. Like, if something really means a lot to somebody, and then somebody callously just trashes it and doesn't even, like, try to calmly explain, like, what their issue is with the thing, it can be hurtful, and it kind of can feel like you're being rejected, sort of. Or, like, that person must think you're an idiot for liking that kind of thing. And I guess maybe it can lightly imply that. If you say a game is super atrocious and horrible, well then what are you maybe implying about the people who do like that game, you know? So that's the kind of situations I try to avoid. And that's why, like, when I first started streaming, I tried to be very lukewarm about anything that I would ever say. And I got shit for it from a friend. Like, it was like playful ribbon. I don't know. I have to try to find that balance of what I want to be. And unfortunately, if I do want to give my abrasive, like, short opinions, I will be met with feedback appropriate for that, I guess. Some people just won't like that. In my head, people think I'm an absolute fucking idiot for liking certain games. Well, what games do you like? I'll tell you if you are or not. I could decide. I like a few bad games, bands, everyone does. Hating on a thing, like, doesn't mean you hate the person. Yeah, some people will think you do, though. I totally forgot the word tolericane exists. Nobody seems to use it. I have never heard of that at all. I think it's more a matter of stating something as your opinion versus stating something as an objective fact. Yeah, but I think, like, people will... Sometimes some people will act like anything that you say, though they assume that you think it's a fact. You just have to ask me, like, Pumpkin, do you think that's objective fact, or do you think it's, like, subjective? Like, for example, fixed camera and tank controls is subjectively the best, and if you don't like it, you're not a real gamer. That's objective. Now, a subjective opinion would be... I don't really know. I tend to just be objectively right about everything. What is a subjective opinion? Can you guys give me an example? Love strong opinions. They're more interested and passionate to me. Yeah. I don't care about passionate opinions so much as I do people trying to be accurate if they can. I do like honesty. I like honesty. My girlfriend and I are complete opposites when it comes to video games, but I will listen to her talk about the lore of her games while she listens to the lore of mine. That's kind of cute. What kind of things does she like versus what you like? Pizza toppings, subjective as hell. So true. So you like Star Ocean, The Second Story, BlazBlue, Cross Tag Battle, Silent Hill 1, Donkey Kong 64, Mega Turricane. So I haven't played any of those games, which means that they're probably bad. So I gotta say that your tastes are certified cringe. I'm just joking. I'm sure your tastes are fine. What about Silent Hill 3, though? Silent Hill 3 is objectively better than 1. Tank controls. Do you think 3D games are good? Sorry, I can't talk to someone who doesn't think 3D games or 2D games are not superior. I love Silent Hill 3. Pineapples are good / bad on pizza. I had pineapple and curry. I've had 2 pineapple curries in the past. It's duck curry, I think, that had pineapple in it. One was good, the other one was not good. The other one was way too sweet. Way too hard on the pineapple. I feel like pineapple and curry can be super good. You just gotta limit it a bit. It's all about that balance, right? She likes Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, Legend of Zelda, Mario, Fire Emblem, and Pokemon, but she hates horror games. Sometimes that's hard for me to fathom that some people don't like horror games, but I get it too. It's funny, Blintilda, who's a member of the Dollhouse, she does not like horror games, but I swear she plays them more than me almost at this point. What if I stated I liked the shovelware games I played before? It depends on what the shovelware is. Can't do horror games. Some people do not like for me, I like horror games because I like the... Oh, thank you for the follow. I like the horror games that I play because they instill a very uncomfortable anxiety in me, but it's kind of like a fun, controllable version of it. I would rather be distracted by the anxiety of being in a spooky house in a safe video game than being anxious because I gotta go to work tomorrow and my coworker hates me. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like an adrenaline kind of thing. Like why some people like skydiving, underwater cave diving, mountain climbing. I don't want that kind of action, but I kind of understand the people who do. That's kind of how I feel about horror games. I just like feeling a very strong emotion. Whereas I guess if you're an adrenaline junkie, I suppose climbing a mountain is dangerous. So they're very, very different. But not everybody wants to feel uncomfortable. I kind of totally get if somebody's like, no, actually, I don't want to play a game and feel nervous and scared and have my heart racing and feel stressed out. I just want to relax. And I get that. But I'm catching up. She rarely ever watches horror movies with me. I have yet to get her to watch The Thing with me. Do you think she would like it, though? The Thing is really good, but if she doesn't like horror movies, she might not like that. And I think some of the stuff would be considered a gross out to some people. It's not the most gory movie in the whole world, but... Also, if I sneeze, I'm sorry. No, because she's easily scared. Why do you want her to watch it, then? Is it like trying to force things that you like on somebody and hope that maybe they'll like it too? She says as a dog turns inside out. I don't think Thing is as gross as like other stuff is. I think the movie that I stomached to watch more than like The Thing was because Thing didn't gross me out. What is that movie? It's a movie by Peter Jackson. And it has 2 names. There was like a scene where something gross happened in somebody's soup, and then the person ate the soup. It was like somebody's eye exploded and pus like went into the soup, and then they started drinking the soup. Like that, I'm like, I can't. Jurassic Park is like, it's got elements of a horror movie. Brain Dead, yeah. What is its other name? I know it has 2 names. Jurassic Park, it's such an interesting combination, which is why I like it so much. It is a very good balance of family film and horror. But it's not a horror movie, it's just like a situational horror. It's both. Yeah, it's both. Kind of like how Jaws is. I don't know if I would call Jaws a family movie, exactly. Jaws is like... It's for the sailors. I feel like you should maybe convince her to watch that. Jurassic Park. Not so much The Thing. Gonna check on your doggo and make some food, but have a good one, everyone. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you so much for giving us your hate and letting me fix you. Make you worse. I tried to watch some horror movies with friends last October. Noped out on the platform a third of the way through. I don't think there's a lot of movies that I just completely drop. I think some of the movies that Mame will have us watch, they get really gross in the body horror, and I'm just like, ugh. I like gore and anime and like animation. When it comes to like live action stuff though, that's when I'm just kind of like, I got a limit to what I can handle. Jurassic Park is a horror movie. If you swap the dinos with some slasher killers being cloned, and it fits right in. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, but I do think Jurassic Park is it's like a hybrid genre. I don't think it's fair to just call it a horror movie. Let's see what Wikipedia classifies it as, out of curiosity. Nothing's easy to find anymore. Wikipedia doesn't like say what it is. Oh, it's science fiction action film. Yeah. Hi, kittens. Did I say hi? Hate gore movies. Like horror, but gore is disgusting. I still soldiered for the Evil Dead movies and The Thing, though. I feel like The Thing's not too bad to watch regarding that. One movie I remember dropping out because it was so gross was, I think it was Sacha Bohan Cohen or something, the guy who's in Borat. I think he did another movie, Bruno or something, and there's this scene where his dick is like in some kind of like neon thon thing, and then he starts like waving around like a copter. And I was watching that with my parents, and I'm just like, I hate this, and then I walked away during that scene. Not a horror movie, but I'm just like, I don't like this. Maybe I'll like it if I go back. To be fair, you could say the premise to a lot of films and turn it to horror. Kinda, yeah. Final Destination makes me uncomfortable due to how it's focused on accidents. Oh, yeah. Do you struggle with paranoia and anxiety? Do you? Okay, don't watch Final Destination. Every time I watch Final Destination, I'm like, alright. Okay, it's over. Remember when Peter gets shot by his breakfast maker machine? That's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna make toast, and then it's gonna set off a chain of events, and the shotgun's gonna get me. It's over. I probably wasn't. I don't think I was a kid, though, is the thing, whenever we watched that movie. I was, well, let me find out how old I would have been. I gotta do the math. Not exactly a kid. Not exactly a kid. So if Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Halloween were kids' movies for me, they were kids' movies for me. Especially Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched that as a kid and I fucking loved it. I was watching a lot of stuff when I was like a little bit too young for them, but I feel like most of us kind of do. Someone edited the laugh track out of a friend scene and turned it into a horror scene. I like, there's one like a Big Bang Theory to where they just took out the laugh track and it's just like, wow. Yeah, you're more honestly presenting this as boring. First movie you watched was The Terminator. Terminator's good. I like Terminator a lot. I don't know if I like one or two more. It's really difficult. With Alien, I know that I like Alien more than Aliens, but with Terminator 1 and 2, it's like, it's a very similar situation as Alien versus Aliens. You got your kind of like, I mean, they're both slow. They're all slow burn to a degree until they're not anymore, but the first Alien and first Terminator are, like, not as bombastic and fantastical, and then the sequels just go crazy. But for some reason, it's just too equal for Terminator 1 and 2 for me. One did feel more horror, I will say, yeah. Still think Terminator 2 is the best action film of all time. Yeah, I always praise its soundtrack, too. Back when soundtracks could be memorable and good. Workout videos. He did workout videos? That's kind of based. Reminds me of when I stopped watching Step Brothers after 15 minutes. Is Step Brothers where they always had that scene where the brother's like, what are you doing? I'm burying you. And I thought for some reason that was so funny as a kid. Like when I saw the trailers. Went to the movie in theaters. That scene's not in it. It just wasn't in it at all. And the movie's really boring and unfunny. For anybody who's new here, I don't like comedies that much. I feel like it's very hard to make me laugh. Especially if it's like content designed to make me laugh. Like I can laugh at a situation like with my friends or something. But if this is a comedy movie, I'll watch it and be like, yeah, this is kind of, I guess it's funny. Or usually, oh yeah, this is pretty funny, and then I just never want to see it again. Like the last comedy thing that I watched that I really, really liked, I was very surprised at how much I liked it, was Scream Queens. That it's a show Mame introduced me to. Absolutely recommend Scream Queens. It's a TV show. They have 2 seasons. Season 2 is weirdly a rehash of everything that Season 1 already did. But it was still funny. But absolutely, just at least watch Season 1. I think there's only 2 anyway. But watch Season 1. Recommend, please. Nightmare on Sesame Street. I bet that's a real parody, too. Despite dressing colorful, you may be dead inside. Kinda. I love vibrant colors. My human form is all desaturated, though. The way I see it, if you don't enjoy Not Another Teen Movie, I question if you have a soul. Oh, wow. I have not heard that in a long time. But I don't think I ever saw it. Is it made by the people who do, like, Scary Movie? Never watched it. Is it actually good? Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a pretty good horror comedy. I did not see that either. I really never been great about watching much content, like normie content and movies in general. After us having an entire conversation about Aliens and Terminator. But yeah, I totally not normie. Although, since times have changed, is it normie to like Terminator and Aliens? Because now we're surrounded by generations who probably haven't even seen them at this point, right? Chucky and Tiffany movie. Oh, what is that called? Wait, which one? Like, the first one? I think it's, oh, I don't remember. That was one of my childhood movies, weirdly. Chucky and Tiffany. Bride of Chucky. That was a childhood movie to me. I loved Tiffany as a kid. The movie kind of gave me anxiety, though, when I was young. It was very, very, very unsettlingly creepy. And then I go back when I'm older, and it's still a little bit creepy and unnerving, but I really like it, too, and think it's kind of more shitposty than I remembered. What was that last... Well, it wasn't the last one, but there was one where they had a kid that sounded like the gecko from the Geico commercials. Which one was that? That one I actually enjoyed a lot. I watched that when I was young as well. Bride of Chucky is great, but watching it back-to-back with the older movies really lets you see how bad rapid 2000s style editing could be. What, where it's like fast cuts and all edgy in its presentation and stuff? Seed of Chucky. I liked it. I thought it was stupid. They just didn't care anymore. They're just fucking around. Not sure how I feel about, like, what was it? They're like, were they pretending that Chucky and Tiffany were just a movie series and were never real? Or was it that they were real, but now they had a movie franchise in their own universe, and Jennifer Tilly was like a character, but she's not Tiffany, she's her own person. It's very silly. Jason X was so ridiculous for having him go to space. I remember watching that. We watched a lot of the Friday movies and Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. They kind of blur together because I watched them like so close to each other. I'm like, wait, which Nightmare on Elm Street did this thing? Like, they kind of just blur. Jason X I thought was entertaining though, from what I remember. So many close-up shots and action scenes. Yo, we watched like the epitome of 2000s movies recently at the Dollhouse. We watched the remake of House on Haunted Hill. Hot garbage, but very entertaining. I feel like sometimes you're in the mood for 2000s flavor. Because there's some movies that came out in the 2000s, I'm sure that you'd watch them and you'd be like, wow, this is like a respectably good movie. And then there's others where you watch it and you're like, wow, this is like so 2000s. One of these days, we can all watch Queen of the Damned together. Another childhood movie of mine. I thought that movie was so cool when I was young. I'm like, oh my god, it's just so sexual and dark. And then I watched it as an adult and I'm like, wow, this is paced really bad. I love 13 Ghosts. I think its second half isn't as good as its first half in a way, but man, that movie's good. I like how it presents its ghosts. I'm pretty picky when it comes to Ghost. I think a lot of Ghost content's not that great. The ghosts in that movie were great. Gory. Each ghost had like a personalized design. Very gory. It was fun. Queen of the Damned is like, when you watch it now, after not seeing it for a while, it just feels like it's kind of chaotic, paced, weird. Character development isn't done overly great. Like the main girl in the movie, I don't feel like, I don't know. And also, hold on. Hold that thought. We gotta do a music video. Huh? What about developing the character? No. Go into the bathtub, put your rose petals in, and play, I don't even know what band it was. And it's like, wow, that's really sexy, but that's, alright. Liked a lot of sci-fi original movies. Who likes Species? I love Species. It's great trash. And I like the sequel too, the second one. I tried to get Mina to watch the first one. Mina wasn't vibing with it. It does come across as like, I don't know if it's a sci-fi original movie, but it probably has the aura of one to where it kind of feels a little bit like junk foody, but I enjoy it. How many did they make after 1 and 2? I saw 13 Ghosts right after playing Silent Hill 4 and had the biggest wait a minute. Oh? Does that mean Silent Hill 4 was inspired by 13 Ghosts, or was 13 Ghosts inspired by Silent Hill 4? It's rare for stuff in the 2000s. What, to be good? Growing Pains with CGI post Spielberg. Species would be like uncomfortable at points. Like in the first Species, she starts off as a young girl, but she's rapidly aging because she's an alien. She's like half human, half alien. And then the movie just keeps getting darker and darker as she gradually like starts just killing more and more people. Spoilers. And it's like, ugh. And then, spoiler on this, I should have done a spoiler warning for this movie, but spoiler warning for Species 2. What made that one kind of creepy is that it was perfectly normal people that got contaminated, spoilers, by aliens. And so they would return to civilization, but now they're not themselves anymore. And one of them does really bad stuff. A lot of it's like sexual violence, I'll say, as a warning. Because basically it's like the alien's goal is to breed, essentially. And it's like that in the first movie, and it's like that in the second movie. And apparently Giger was involved with the alien design. I did not know that initially when I watched, because when I was growing up, I was not familiar with Giger, and I had never watched Alien. I would not watch Alien until my late teens. Because my grandpa, he's so into sci-fi. I would always see, like, X-Files videotapes and various sci-fi DVDs. And if I would be visiting my grandma for a week, well, there wouldn't be much to do there. I hit a point to where I was a little bit too old to do arts and crafts. I just didn't want to anymore. Arts and crafts could be done by any age, but it wasn't stimulating to me anymore is what I'm saying. And so I would sometimes just watch random stuff that would be in the DVD shelf, and I'm like, oh, what's Alien? And I'm like, what the fuck? I was so shocked by it, I didn't even know how to feel about it. I didn't know if I liked it, but I kept rewatching it over and over. And so that's how it became my favorite movie. He did not make me watch Star Trek. I didn't overlay bonds with my grandparent, my grandpas. Grandma, yeah. Grandpa's not really. I did watch, I don't know. I didn't watch it with him. I watched, we talked about this before on the stream. What is the live action show? Invasion? Invasion. I watched Invasion. That was pretty decent. Not great. I don't think I would ever want to revisit it, but it was like pretty good. I love the retrofuturism and Alien. That direction is peak sci-fi. Yeah, I kind of gravitate towards that the most. I don't like overly slick and clean, rounded, like white, overly shiny and polished. I kind of like when it has a more industrial vibe. And a lot of people kind of vibed with that too, because I guess for a period of time, there's a lot of content that was Aliens and Alien inspired. There was a point in my childhood where I was scared of alien abductions because of my dad constantly watching X-Files. I watched a little bit of X-Files on my own a few years ago. It seemed actually kind of quirky. It was kind of entertaining. I need to get back to it though. Last time I felt that way was the recent movie we watched, the one with the model girl that turns into an abomination at the end. Yes, it was, I think, called like The Cure or something. Movie... The Substance. It was called The Substance. If you want, like, good body horror and a relatively just good movie, I would watch The Substance. It's a horror movie. Horror sci-fi that came out in 2024. And Mame recommended it. I remember she showed me the trailer a while back before we ended up watching it. I'm like, oh, this seems kind of neat. The premise is basically like, okay, she's a celebrity, but she's aged now. You know what happens when you're a woman and you've aged in the celebrity world? You don't matter anymore. Move aside, we need the new 20-year-olds to come in. And so she gets an offer where if she takes this kind of medication, she can be young and beautiful again, but the way they do it is not the way you would expect. So. X-Files was good stuff. Haven't watched it since it was on air, though. Did I give that a 10 or an 8? Maybe an 8. Ginger Snaps was good. I liked it a lot. I watched Ginger Snaps on my own, or I watched it with Mame, maybe? Or somebody. I might have been Mame. I don't remember. But I watched it, I'm like, this is good. And then I immediately watched it again because I'm like, hey, Mina, you should actually watch this with me. Can't wait for Pumpkin to ruin this streak because she doesn't love me. Well, I'm not going to be doing overly late night streams, I don't think. So maybe I won't ruin it. I remember iRobot and the robot scared me. Oh, iRobot! I used to love that movie so much as a kid. I would watch it on repeat all the time. Went back to it and watched it as an adult. It actually still holds up. I like the cast. But it as an adult, it feels more apparent that it's a little bit junk foody in a way. I don't know how to explain it. I won't ruin the streak, don't worry. I promise. Mystery Theater 3000. I have heard of that. What is it? Oh, also, speaking of old shit, I saw this video that was recommended to me that talked about, I hadn't had a chance to watch it, but it was talking about the rise and fall of Goosebumps. I'm very curious to check it out because I was huge into Goosebumps when I was a kid. Goosebumps was this giant phenomenon. Like, everybody read Goosebumps. They were, like, very entertaining. They had a TV show. I would typically watch the VHS, like, releases, so I thought they were just movies, but it was a TV show, I guess. They did, They did some, I think there were some games, stuff like that too. But I guess at some point they dropped off. I don't know what happened, but from glancing at the comments a little bit, I guess like R.L. Stine was being forced to pump them out. And also apparently he had a lawsuit from the book company that he was forced to write for while he was writing for them. I have no idea what happened. My favorite book of Goosebumps was Dead House. Dead House was so fucking uncomfortable because everybody, well, spoiler, everybody's basically a zombie. But they all move and talk like real people, but they're all actually just dead. I don't remember what was bad about that. Do they try to kill you? Do they try to make you dead too? What was the point of that? I don't remember, but it was very unnerving and uncomfortable. I liked reading that book in particular. The adaptation of it was not as spooky. It felt more unnerving when you read it. And then in terms of like the live action that actually unnerved me, it would always be Haunted Mask. Haunted Mask was super uncomfortable. Even though you go back to it and yeah, the kid actors are really, really bad, but still. Or like whenever like, I think her name is Carly Max or Carly or something, she put the mask on and it's like, okay, what if a 13-year-old girl tries to do a spooky voice? It's not very good. But that's the monster's voice. But it doesn't sound good. Crazy how Goosebumps had a kid's cartoon. I do not know if I saw that. Goosebumps kid cartoon. I remember there was a, I don't see cartoon. There was another series of books that R.L. Stine did. I don't remember if it was the Goosebumps brands, but it also got a TV series for it too. One of them was like a book about everyone in school having to swallow hairy balls. Does anybody remember that? There's also one where it's like a cover of a girl and she's like becoming evil and her hands are distorted into fire. Yeah, it was about balls. Let me look it up. R.L. Stine hairy balls. Y'all acting like I wrote it. I didn't write it. R.L. Stine. Nah. And the cover art for Goosebumps was really good too. I got an art book from that artist. Let me find him. Goosebumps artist. Maybe that book is still available. Jacobus, Tim and Jacobus. Sounds like somebody took a name and medievalified it. Will Smithium, you know. Ooh, you can get this for 25 bucks, you guys. 100%. Look at this. Do you guys remember this art? The good old days of physical painting. And you could tell. Hold on, we gotta... sorry, I'll go back to the balls in one moment. I think R.L. Stine also did a... another series for like teenagers, because like Goosebumps was for kids, and then there was another one. I think it's Fear Street. I don't think I knew Fear Street was by him, but I don't think I read a ton of those. Let me find the balls. I should read these actually. Sometimes like Mame reminded me of a series of unfortunate events because she's wanted to like buy all the books and reread them. I thought about doing that too because I do like a series of unfortunate events, but man, I would rather read a bunch of Fear Streets. I think that would be fun. Let's see, Fear Street, Fear Street. My God, he wrote so much. Oh! Was it the Nightmare Room? The Nightmare Room. And the posters for these books are so fucking cool too, or like the illustrations for like oh my God, the nostalgia. I don't know if this is the one where they had to eat hairy balls though. But look at this poster. This used to hit so hard to me as a kid. Like this still goes fucking hard. Like if I saw an art like this on Twitter, you know what I would do? I'd retweet it. I had this book physically. It's gone now, though. Oh, this is it! Oh my god. I haven't seen this book in so long. Look at this. I had both of these books physically. This is where they had to eat balls. And as you can see, this is what they look like. I don't know what kind of shit you were imagining. Remember Kids WB? Ah, it's time to wake up and watch Yu-Gi-Oh! What's this, though? Is it a VHS? Okay. Because I've seen, like, a poster to where it's, like, live action people photoshopped in collages, which isn't as interesting. I think movie posters and book posters are more interesting when it's, like, actual, like, paintings, digital or whatever. Digital painting, physical painting. As long as it's painting, I find that more interesting than just a photo of somebody. Did I ever read these other ones? They Call Me Creature. I don't think I never had this one. The first two that I showed I did have. Is this a digital painting or is this a real girl? Looks digital. She doesn't look like she's actually terrified though. She looks like she's like, don't bite me. Man, this art goes hard. Is this how it actually looked? There's like two versions of this. Which one is real? So like, this is the same book, right? This is the first one that I saw, and I'm like, wow, this actually looks fucking sick. I also like how they did the frame, where it's like black at the top, and then it becomes striped pattern at the bottom. Like that, the overall cohesion and everything, it just flows super good. But is this how it actually looked? Or is this how it looked? This sucks. This is cool. Which one's the real one? I'm seeing more photos showing the unsilhouette version, which is a bummer because the other one looks really... This looks cool. It's like somebody taking an edit of... Or somebody taking like a screenshot of Sakura from Naruto and then like doing an emo edit. And then they add like little glitter pixel and like a little stamp above their ass. Gothic Hinata. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen that shit. Never been in chat rooms? Never seen that shit? It's one called Dear Diary, I'm Dead. Honestly, I could have read this one. This looks silly. Shadow Girl. I don't think I want to read this one. What's this gonna be? What's the horror gonna be with her exactly? Could be region differences, fair, but they should all have the same thing. Same cover. That's your D&D rogue. What does she do? Let's look it up together. Shadow Girl. Alright, it's on Amazon. You hold in your hands the key to a shadow world of shivers and screams. Take a step away from the safe, comfortable world you know. Unlock the door to terror. There's always room for one more in the nightmare room. Take a look at Selena Miles sitting in the park across the way. She looks bored, doesn't she? That's because she thinks nothing exciting ever happens to her. But Selena is about to learn the truth about herself, her real identity, and her superpowers. Too bad her powers come with a price. Selena has an arch enemy who wants her dead. Maybe Boren was better, but it's too late. Selena's crossed over into the Nightmare Room. I mean, it could be interesting. It looks like it's cape shit, but, like, it could be, like, a pretty solid, like, dark little hero story, right? 'Cause I think superhero stuff can be neat. Oh my god! Oh my god. I don't know if I read this. Have you guys seen this? Look at this. This is what my PC screen was doing when I was, like, playing the Mario Luigi Brothership game. It was dying. It was in agony. The souls in my PC monitor were trying to escape. I don't emulate Switch. I use Elgato. She shadows as a girl. It's like a stalker. There's another one. Wait. Full Moon Halloween. I don't know if I watched much of the show. Maybe just a little bit of it. What's this gonna be about? I like Halloween, but what's this gonna be about? You know what bums me out is there was like nothing ever gets done right. There was like a revival of Goosebumps, right? But it wasn't like, oh, we're doing a new adaptation of Goosebumps stories. It was like, okay, what if we got Jack Black and like a bunch of kids and like all of the R.L. Stine books were coming to life? So what if they like dealt with all kinds of Goosebumps stuff, IPs all at once? Like what if Slappy and the sponge from under the sink came at you together? I don't know. Wow, cool crossover. What if we just picked one thing though? But I don't know if, like, would anybody ever dare, like, AAA budget, AA budget of The Haunted Mask. But, like, we'll expand it into a full-length picture film. Would they do that? Or do we only have the hopes of, like, a TV show revival? I would rather that than, like, oh no, what if all Goosebumps came together in one movie? That sucks to me. I remember finding this horror anthology book in my library that had a disturbing story about the spaceship crash landing in the backyard of this off-the-grid family, and the ship was what looked like a human skeleton but was actually alien. It then proceeded to chase down and remove their skin for their bones so that I could have companions. Some of these, like, kids' books would actually be, like, creepy. Was the book that you read that you're talking about, is that for kids? Or was it, like, for teenagers, maybe? I know that there was a new, it was like a new Alone in the Dark that I never checked out. I know I've asked Mame 5,000 times, how was that series again? I think she's answered, but it's been a while. Hi, Freezy. PumpkinSynth. I think you might have been here for a while, but I just noticed you saying my name, but now I know what you're doing. PumpkinSynth. Let me think of other names. Gonna lurk for now. Have a great stream. Oh, thank you, thank you. I thought we'd been yapping forever, but it actually hasn't been that long. We started talking about journalists, but I can't stay, like, on a topic, like, one singular topic for too long unless I have, like, notes or things, like, structured ahead of time. But because I'm winning this, there's... like, I'll end the stream, and then I'll think back, and I'll be like, what the fuck, I didn't even mention this point, or this point, or this thing that I wanted to bring up. Thank you for the follow. Tangents are good for streams. Yeah, I rarely do them, because, sometimes I just, don't have the energy to keep going into a rant, or I'll run out of things to talk about, you know? But I felt passionate enough because I was just so, like, salty about the Mario Luigi Brothership thing. Because not only did that game disappoint me, the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze I had to drop because I couldn't deal with the Flappy Bird levels. And I feel a little bit bad because I'm thinking, like, man, that's a patience issue on your part, Pumpkin. Like, literally, you were gradually getting better at that dumb Flappy Bird level. If you had given it maybe 10 more tries, you would have gotten it, and then you would have been able to experience the rest of the game and probably play, like, 10 more really good levels, and then maybe one more Flappy Bird level, and then your final boss. But I lost my patience so bad that I'm just like, I dropped it completely. Now, will I ever go back to it? I feel like... Yesterday I said, you know what, I'm gonna delete my save data for Tropical Freeze because it's eating up my space on my Switch and I'm definitely never gonna return to it. But I didn't do it because I'm thinking maybe I will return to it. And it doesn't matter if I take a break from it anyway. Like, I can revisit that game in like 5 months from now because it's a Flappy Bird level anyway. Like, it's so different than how the rest of the game is, like, you know what I mean? Save. Why'd you ... me? How would you like it if I ... you? Save data hardly takes any space, but Switch doesn't have that much. And also, what if I don't want it even on my Switch at all? What if I wanted it eviscerated? I also feel like if you're never gonna revisit a game, why even have the data on your thing to begin with? I don't blame you. Hopes they would be good and you expected them to last multi-streams. Anyone would be salty. Yeah, I still feel like I got a good runtime out of Tropical Freeze. I would still say it is a solid game. It is a good Donkey Kong game. As somebody who likes and prefers the original Donkey Kong Country, I still think that that game is really good. But take out the Flappy Bird. If you ever feel like playing something laid back but still fair, would you consider Splatoon 3? Not really. I don't really like multiplayer stuff. I also wouldn't really consider multiplayer, like, competitive stuff to be relaxing in any way. Personally, for me, even if you're not, like, playing ranked or anything, I just kind of, like, I just get bored by those. I do know it has a single-player story, but... I'm just not that interested in Splatoon to engage with it. I remember... I think I beat the single-player campaign in the first game, but I don't know if I did for the second one. I do have the second one, but I'm not gonna buy the third one for its single-player to experience that, you know? I decided not to get it because I felt like I wouldn't, like, utilize it right. I feel like those games are mostly meant for the multiplayer more than the single-player. But it did feel good. Like, when I would play Splatoon, it mechanically felt great. It was very fun. I did like playing multiplayer when I did with friends. But if I don't have friends specifically pushing me to play it, I just kind of, like, drop interest, you know? Sometimes deleting something is cathartic. Space concerns be damned. Yeah, like, kind of like that. I was like that with Breath of the Wild. You're still so disappointed. What about Breath of the Wild did you not like? I remember booting that game up and I thought it was a very beautiful game. But I couldn't stay engaged with it. It was way too open for my liking. Hi, Sui. That last Alone in the Dark I remember is when he shouts, "I'm the fucking Lightbringer." Hold on a second. I thought that was, what's his face? That's his name? Comic review guy. Linkara. The great Linkara. I thought it was fun, but I just dropped it for other games. To be fair, I've owned most Zelda games, but I never finished one. Breath of the Wild has too many things to do. You're getting sidetracked, and even then, when you're done with those, the remaining ones are difficult to kind of solve. No dungeons, weapon durability, too grindy. I didn't like the weapon durability. I think I see that as, like, a thing that people go back and forth on. I don't know how you could like the weapon durability in that game. Like, I'm okay with weapon durability as a concept. I've played other games that have it. System Shock 2 has weapon durability. But you can maintain them and everything. It just felt like Breath of the Wild. It's like, alright, you got a new weapon. Alright, you hit an enemy 3 times. Time to find a new weapon because it's about to fall apart. Which makes you not want to use any good weapons. Because it's the same thing. Like, oh, you have a good weapon, though. It'll last longer. And it's like, yeah, it won't last that much longer, though. Tears of the Kingdom is way better than Breath of the Wild. I think I've heard that, but I think I also heard that it's more like an expansion. That it doesn't feel... It feels like it's just doing the same shit that the first game already did in a way. That it's not new enough? Oh, and also shrines. Shrines were where they had the motion controls, right? I played the game on the Wii U. In my opinion, weapon durability adds nothing to a game. It really depends on the game. I feel like, if you like management, mechanics, I feel like it can be fun. But if it's also not in the game, that's fine too. Like I like Resident Evil is like, a pretty, management-heavy game. But it doesn't have, durability. And I feel like it's still fine without it. I wouldn't say that I want weapon durability in Resident Evil. But the weapon durability in System Shock 2 felt kind of cool. Do I love weapon durability, or do I just tolerate it and think it's like fine? I actually don't know about that. I'll have to think on that. But if it's done bad, then I hate it. Like if it's like really bad, I don't like it. I really like both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Do you have like a preference for which one you like more? Or do you kind of like them as like a package? Because sometimes it's hard to pick like a favorite between two things if it feels like they go together as a set. Weapon durability in Breath of the Wild was fine for the first 15 to 20 hours, but after that point, I just didn't bother with it and downloaded a mod. The one reason I like weapon durability is because without it, you get Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess, where all the rewards are just rupees or collectibles that might as well be currency. So, what Breath of the Wild... I don't know if Tears of the Kingdom do it, but what Breath of the Wild does is, like, a reward that you can get is, like, new weapons? I personally... Like, I'm not the biggest Zelda person. I'm more of a Mario person. But I dabble in Zelda a little bit. I just like games having a bit more focus and structure. Not like the most linear games in the planet, but I like a little bit of guidance. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Like, you know, even old Resident Evil has a little bit of focus, you know? But when things become a bit too open, where you can go anywhere and you can do anything, and you can see that mountain, you can go over there, and I'm just like, ugh. Do you think the weapon durability in the games is a bit low, but I get where they were going with it. Trying to get you to experiment more. Right, like trying to get you to not just use the same thing because it works, and actually utilize like everything that they want to put in the game. I think I like Breath of the Wild as a whole more, but there are aspects of Tears of the Kingdom I like a lot, and the dungeons in it are better. So like Tears of the Kingdom is... Does that mean it's basically like, looking at Breath of the Wild and addressing criticisms with specifically that game, kind of? Like, okay, Breath of the Wild has some issues. Let's tackle that in the sequel. I thought there are people who prefer the first game, though, right? Is there any reason to like Breath of the Wild more than Tears of the Kingdom? Aside, oh, Tears of the Kingdom is just reusing the same map from the first game, and also doesn't feel different enough. Aside that. If that is actually true, anyway. Say what you will about Echoes of Wisdom, but at least they brought back classic dungeons. Oh! That's one of the games that I have on my queue to play, but I need to go back and replay Link's Awakening. Play Link's Awakening, which, I really like that game. I played specifically the remake. I haven't played the original. I was gonna play, that, and then I can get around to doing Echoes of Wisdom. Curiosity is my guidance. Some people do like open world. Like, they like the freedom to explore and do things at their own pace and have the game evolve based on their actions, I guess. I just can't get into it. It's too overwhelming. Choice paralysis. I love grid inventory and management. I wanted a Tarkov-style management game, but that isn't Tarkov. So, Stalker? Or does Stalker not go deep enough? I think Tarkov is like more hardcore, right? Like there's way more to it, whereas Stalker is actually more simple in comparison. Mina's more involved in the Stalker community than I am. I just like the first Stalker game a lot, and I never played Tarkov. But from what I've heard, I guess a lot of people expected Stalker 2 to be more like the Stalker Modern scene and Tarkov. And when it wasn't those things, and it felt just like how Stalker 1 was, people were like confused and like irritated. Be like, what? What the fuck? There's small changes to the map. I did know something about a build-in mechanic in Tears of the Kingdom, and that, like, you could do all kinds of crazy shit. I think it was like a genre of like TikToks or something. Every now and then I would see them on Twitter. People like building insane contraptions. I love spending time in Breath of the Wild, but wish there was more things to do, more side stories, for example. I just remember I just didn't get very far in it before I dropped off. But I got it because even somebody as great as me will succumb to hype every now and then. What an eye candy game. I want more games that look like that. Beautiful, like cel shaded, but very detailed and nice. Yeah, well, how well you like the building mechanics in Tears of the Kingdom will really determine if you like it or not, and if you like it more than Breath of the Wild or not. Okay. Oh, hi, Fulf. How's it going? It's going pretty good. We're doing a rare just chatting stream where we're just kind of yapping. I was planning to just talk about video game journalists, reviews, etc., etc. But we ended up just kind of like naturally evolving to talking about Goosebumps. I don't even know how we got that. You know what I did say I was gonna do? I completely forgot. I was gonna do an open mic to where any members of the Dollhouse can kind of come in my stream and just talk. Like, I wasn't gonna invite anybody in particular, just gonna have the mic open and then they can hop in. I can still do that. I don't know if anybody will notice. I'll give Mina a heads up, though, because Mina doesn't check. I gotta let Mina know. Mina, are you here? For the record, Mina, I'm not saying that you have to come. I'm just saying, letting you know, raising awareness that I'm about to do it. Maybe whoever joins with me, we can talk about IGN's review of Alien Isolation and find out if that review is warranted or not. Because I didn't finish the game. I liked it a lot. Oh my god, the atmosphere, environment, it's wonderful. Gameplay actually was fun. I liked it. I just didn't get far in it. I dropped off at some point and I never made time for it. But I liked it. Game and Talk or Pop Culture Media Talk. Oh yeah, we covered a bunch of stuff. I think they gave it like a 6.5 or something. I have it pulled up somewhere. Did I already close out of it? I guess I thought I wasn't going to get to it. Alien Isolation, IGN. 5.9, not even a 6.5. 5.9, which means, 5.9, it's basically 6. But still, that's pretty low. Lower than a 7 doesn't feel right to me. What Mina has always told me about that game is that it is too long for the kind of game it is. Oh, thank you for the lurk. But I can kind of get that. It's like, oh, it's a hide-and-seek survival horror game. Where, uh-oh, the patrolling enemies around, you gotta go hide in a locker and wait for them to go away. That can get exhausting, and it's why I don't play those kind of games very often. Like, I love Haunting Ground, right? I adore Haunting Ground. But Haunting Ground is not something I'm gonna be playing all the time. It is absolutely way too long. Like, isn't it like 16 hours or something? Hi, Speedwagon. Alright, I drop in Dollhouse now. Alright, let's see. Collab voice chat. But because I didn't announce it, or set it up properly, I'll have to set up anybody who pops in's Fugi tag. That's just Outlast. You run and hide from asylum patients. I remember I watched a video trying to understand what the appeal of Outlast was. And they explained it very well. I don't remember what they said. But at the moment, I'm like, oh, I kind of get it. Not for me, but I get it. Outlast just doesn't seem like it's something that I would vibe with, though. But I don't remember why. I think its gameplay mechanics just didn't go deep enough for me. That's a simple way to put it, really. Took me about 16 hours to complete it. What score would you give it? I wonder if the sequel will address it. What's it gonna... Oh, God. It's gonna be... Oh, well, I don't know how I don't know how Isolation ends. But it'd be funny if, like, oh, Ripley's daughter has a daughter and she's the protagonist. That's what it would be if it was Resident Evil. Alright, guys. Resident Evil 9. Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine's daughter. But who's her father? It's Wesker. What? That's right. 7.5. 7.5. Keep forgetting Outlast 2 exists. I heard that people did not like that game at all. I don't even hear people hate it. I just hear people not acknowledge it exists. There was already a sequel to Alien Isolation, but it was a dumb mobile game. Oh, those don't even count. Random mobile game, random VR game. I feel like most people won't get to those, so they probably don't put a lot of effort into them. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was somebody's dream project, was making Alien Isolation on phones. Wilson, as usual, my time has come. It was a nice yapping stream. You should do these more often. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough and I say stupid, ignorant stuff all the time. If I do a just chat and stream, there's more opportunity for me to say bad opinions. Just joking. Nothing I say is bad. It's alright. Outlast Trails. Is that the multiplayer one? I think I played that game. It's so funny. It's so funnily edgy. It's kind of delightful. Very 2000s dripping. There's going to be an official sequel. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I hope it's good. I hope they learn from maybe some of their mistakes. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, how are they going to make another one? Just another Xenomorph? You could do that. Think a game where you either play as Newt or another survivor during the events of Hadley's Hope would be kind of cool. That would be cool. I would be down with that. But if you play as Newt, you can't. If you play as Newt, you don't get a gun. It'll be a game with no weapons. And it'll just be a hide-and-seek game. That would actually suck really bad. If I was told to make a Newt game, though, I would give her an assault rifle. And they would say, that doesn't make sense, Pumpkin. She doesn't do anything like that in the movies. And I'd be like, you want me to make a game with this kid? I'm not going to make a hide-and-seek game. We're giving her an assault rifle, and she loses it. And that's why she's unarmed in the movies. True. Okay, then we gotta give her a flamethrower. There's so many horror games that push you from your one set piece to the next. It's done so often that Outlast was too easy to see behind the curtain. Outlast just doesn't seem like it'll stimulate me. I want to see if that alien AI becomes even stronger. You know what I'll do? So whenever I first played Alien Isolation, I really wasn't sure about how I was feeling about the Xenomorph AI. Everybody always says that they're stupid. Maybe I succumb to intimidation. I don't remember fully what happens, but I think what I did is I played the DLC where it's the Nostromo, I think. The Nostromo from the first movie. And you're playing as, I think, Ripley? Or somebody. You're playing as, I think, as Ripley. And you're just dealing with one alien while you're navigating through the ship. I think I sucked probably so bad that I can't do this, and then I probably switched it to easy mode. Because me and patrolling enemies that can instantly kill you, I know you have a flamethrower, but it's still an enemy that can instant kill you. Rather than like how Haunting Ground works, to where they can't instant kill you in Haunting Ground. You have health management and everything. They can grab you, hit you, or whatever, but you can get up and you run away, and you can break the distance or create distance to then hide while they get off your ass, and then you heal yourself, and then you move along. But yeah, dealing with like I didn't even know the game was going to be as long as it is. But yeah, I think I switched it to easy when I played a really long time ago. if I get around to trying to give it another chance, I'll play it on stream, and I'll probably try normal difficulty, like everyone else. And maybe you guys can teach me how the AI is supposedly stupid. Maybe I'm stupider than dumb AI. We can pretend Alien 3 didn't exist in this new Newt game. Isn't that... Was that like a canceled project? I thought there was supposed to be a movie that was going to rewrite the canon of 3 and it never came out or something. But I know a new Alien movie came out, right? Alien Rhombus? Never saw it. I've heard both that it's great, and I've heard both that it's like okay, and then it's just nostalgia baity, which everything is. I don't hate Alien 3, honestly. I feel like Alien 3, like, I understand why people would be like, what the fuck? How depressing. You literally killed Newt and, Michael Biehn? Like, okay. But I think it was like a pretty interesting story. I liked it. I just think what hurt it is that it felt like a trashy 90s movie. Like, not a good 90s movie, a trashy 90s movie. In terms of, like, the horror. Like, once the horror came in, and it's like, oh, we have chase cams, and they do, like, Dutch angles while it's running at you, and surprise jump death. Alien 3 script was supposed to have Newt and Hicks survive, but were separated from Ripley. Wasn't that, like, it's a development hell movie, and that, like, many people touched that movie? To where I think the director is like, yeah, I disown this movie. I hate this movie. I don't know if I saw the director's cut. I think I saw the normal cut, and I have been meaning to make time to watch the director's cut, but trying to justify taking the time to watch director's cut. Like, will it change my opinion that much? But I don't hate Alien 3 so much that I would never revisit it. So if I do revisit it, I might as well revisit their director's cut. So Alien with Sam Raimi, Evil Dead camera angles, kinda, to be honest. It had so many different script ideas they couldn't decide on it. So, let me think. So Alien 2, Aliens, was directed by James Cameron. Why did he not return for the third one? Does anybody know? And that's just director. Write-in is a different thing. I don't think James Cameron writes his movies, right? I have no right to judge about alien movies. Your favorite movie is Resurrection. The thing is Resurrection is a very good, campy, action sci-fi movie. Or is it more of a sci-fi thriller movie? Sci-fi thriller action movie. It was entertaining. My only issue with Alien Resurrection, in terms of judging it for what it is I think the second half, pacing kind of got rushed, it felt like. But aside that, pretty entertaining. I don't respect it for bringing Ripley back. Like, no, we can't lose Ripley. We gotta bring her back somehow. Okay, guys, listen, look. What if she's like half Xenomorph, half Ripley, and also plays basketball? Okay. They originally shot the movie without a script to start. In what sense? Like, what, doing maybe establishing shots? Only recall that Ripley got 1 million off the top to have her top chopped. First female to score a cool million. Huh? What are you talking about? Alien Romulus is at least better than Prometheus and Covenant. I liked Prometheus as a movie. I didn't really care about it because it was connected to the Alien universe, though. I just liked it for what it was. But everyone else hates it. Like, they hate it. So I'm like, man, this movie must be really bad. And I'm like, I don't know, I actually kind of liked it. I do know that some characters did stupid things. Like, there's this one part where there's something that's rolling or something. And this one chick, this blonde chick, is running away from it. But she keeps running away from it in the direct path of where it's going instead of just going to the side. And then she just dies. Maybe I need to watch Prometheus again. Maybe if I watch it again with a more critical lens, I'll be able to, like, notice, like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Like, what's... This writing's bad. I didn't catch any of that when I first saw it. But when I watched Covenant, I thought it was very dull. I thought its cast was extremely weak. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of characters, but we're not really gonna flesh anybody out or make them memorable at all. We're just gonna kill them all. And it wasn't even good at being like a dumb slasher or anything. It just wasn't good. I saw that in theaters. It sucked. I hate how dumb the humans are in Covenant, but once David shows up, it's so fucking good. Yeah, where he starts playing the flute with himself. Yeah. He was the best part. Prometheus and Covenant had some of the dumbest scientists in existence. Okay, so what are some other things that are bad about Prometheus? Aside, like, explaining the origin of the xenomorphs. I never want an explanation for them. I don't need anything. Like, they're just aliens. Where did ants come from? Who cares? Ants are ants, and they're creepy, and they hurt. Except little sugar ants. They're very cute. But aside that, like, what is bad about Prometheus? And then Metroid basically turned David into Samus's dad and made the best Switch game ever. Oh, what? Dread? Everything! That's a lazy answer. We're critical thinkers here. Our hate is nuanced and detailed and descriptive. I think Prometheus and Covenant would have been better if they didn't give David so much protagonism. Like, if David wasn't, like, a protagonist? Because I know he's, like, a flawed character that gets a little bit toxic. I thought he was the best part of those movies. I like Prometheus 2 as a movie, but as an alien movie, it raises more questions than answers. That could be cool, though. But I don't want alien... I don't have questions about the xenomorph. Personally, like, see Alien 1 and 2. I think what's more interesting, if we're gonna get into, like, deep lore, is not the aliens, but, like, these evil corporations. The evil corporations that want to use the xenomorphs for bad. Why don't we get into detail about them? You know how, like, Star Wars had Rogue One? Where it's like, oh, it's the origin story of the plans for the Death Star or something like that. What if we had, like, a movie to where it's about, like, scientists or something that work for Yutani or whatever the fuck they're called. And it's maybe some kind of scientist drama. Maybe there's not even a xenomorph in it. But then people would be mad, like, no, we want xenomorph killings now. I guess they could still do that, right? I don't know. Maybe I want to watch a movie about a guy who's late to his job at the evil corporation. And he's got trouble with his wife and his kid. And then at the very end, I don't know, maybe somebody mentions Ripley's name and then it cuts to black or something. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't want to put thought into this joke or this hypothetical situation. I need to bake this idea longer. Like, I can cover how a Resident Evil TV show can go. Like, Netflix doesn't know how to do it right. I do. I know how to do it right. I could do it. But I don't know how I would do, like, a prequel story for Alien that's, like, good. That gets into, like, stuff besides the xenomorph. There's lots better stuff going on in that world, right? You know what I'm talking about? Never mind. Ignore me. Metroid Dread is good, but I thought it was going to go in a different direction that I thought would have been a lot better. I haven't played it yet. I have it. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm interested in its gameplay. Pumpkin for writing and director. Yeah, I can write it. The God of War guy hated Dread because he couldn't figure out there's blocks you can break to progress. God of War guy? Which one? Like, the original creator of God of War IP? I think I once showed, like, a clip of him advocating for God of War being toxic again. That he should be toxic and masculine again. So, I don't know. Kind of based. Don't know much about him, though. Hated Dread because he can... So, does he stream or something? It tries to answer questions that no one had, not for the sake of art, but for the sake of money, resulting in a very muddy script with no structure. Well, that's what I wanted to not know, though. It's like, if we judged Prometheus for what it is, and its characters for what they are, and try to ignore the fact that it's about backstory of xenomorphs and alien, is it at least good for what it is, or is it just too impossible to separate it? Is it just not possible to enjoy Prometheus because of its connection to Alien? Stress and synth with Western media. I'm stressed by all media, to be honest. All media. All new is bad, all old is good. So everything that new that comes out pains me. Also, I saw, they were like, it's like the new Batman movie. There's gonna be a new one with Robert Pattinson, a sequel to The Batman, which I did not think was that great. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest in the world. And apparently, like, one of the writers, the director's like, oh, people are trying to guess who the next villain of the Batman is gonna be, and they're gonna be surprised. I'm like, you better fucking surprise me. Ivy. Why won't we bring Ivy back? Have we had Ivy in a live action Batman IP anything since Uma Thurman? Ivy is literally a good villain. Bring her back. The Batman was basically Trent Reznor in the Batsuit. When he had his crying mascara, it was super cool. People do what they want, but for me, I can't separate it. You put RoboCop in the title, uncompare it. Simple as. I feel like that's fair. Hope it's Dracula. I mean, I'd be down. Batman versus Dracula. Let's just go crazy. We did have her in the Tim Burton one. It wasn't Tim Burton. It was Schumacher, I believe. Schumacher is who did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I liked his Batman movies. I think I like Batman Forever more than Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin was actually really entertaining for what it was. But as always, it just has pacing issues in the second half. It got a little bit dull and boring for a little bit. That's Batman Returns, I believe. That's the second Tim Burton Batman movie. Batman Returns, I think is what it's called. Yeah. That's where we had an amazing Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer. Very messy movie. They also had, like, oh my goodness, that actor whose name I always forget every single time I try to talk about him. Every time. He was in, you know, the guy in Sleepy Hollow. No, Jim Carrey's in Batman Forever. He's not in Batman Returns. I'm trying to think of a certain actor. No, not Danny DeVito. Christopher Walken. Yeah, Christopher Walken is super hot in Batman Returns. Like, oh my god, his character is so sexy. He's a shitty corpo guy. Batman Returns. I love how Tim Burton just loves stripes. It's his favorite hobby, stripes. He's so beautiful and toxic. Look how pretty he is. Look at his eyes. Wow. But it's like just the white hair, the way it's swept, the suit colors. My old gothic man. Wonder how old he was during this. Looks like he's in his 40s. My god, why are his eyes so pretty? Is that like... Was he just like this? Like, hold on. Look Look at his kissable mouth. What is going on, Christopher Walken? See if I can find more pictures of him. No, we're gonna focus on Michelle Pfeiffer. Catwoman. They had, she's wearing, like there's an entire art and culture to latex suits. To get it as tight as it was, because if you see, I think latex suits, if you don't vacuum the air out, it's a little bit underwhelming. Like, they don't clean to your body as sexily. It probably will look like spandex almost, like to where it's like, it's not clung enough to the body. They had to vacuum the air out of her. And I think it was like an agonizing process for her. She was so Menhera in this movie. And other stuff, like sometimes she just comes across as like kind of crazy cat lady. But, you know, femme fatale, and she seems like, you know, she's just like, oh, having a good time. This one seems like she needs medication. She's kind of having a good time. But she's gonna have an episode at any moment. Kind of vibe, which is very nice. I'm just gonna be looking up pictures. Love this. Cry for me, queen. Or, as the meme goes, queens never cry. There's this scene where, it's on YouTube where she's like cracking the whip. She actually trained to do the whip shit, and she got good at it. Hi, Malphus. Forever best Batman movie in my opinion. Absolutely love the direction. You can't name me anything cooler than a gang of neon painted punks. Which one? Batman Returns? My favorite Batman movie is The Dark Knight Returns. It's animated one. I love that movie a lot. Favorite, and I like Batman Year One. In terms of live action, I usually say that Batman Forever is my favorite. Is that still true? Is there one I'm forgetting? Oh, Under the Red Hood is really good. I like that one a lot, too. My favorite superhero film is probably still Batman... Dark Knight Returns. I also really like, The Dark Knight. It gets confusing. The Dark Knight Returns is animated, and there's a part 1 and part 2. It has Joker and Superman in it. The Dark Knight is the one with Heath Ledger Joker. I like that movie. That movie's actually good. That movie really sparked me to more actively... The Dark Knight more actively sparked me... It sparked me to be more active in seeking out Batman content. Because I would catch episodes of Batman Beyond... I would catch episodes of BTOS, etc. Maybe played a little bit of Arkham Asylum. Dark Knight came out, and I'm like, you know what? I think I really like this IP. I'm gonna, like, start checking it out more deeply. And I feel like a little bit self-conscious. I'm like, man, it feels like I waited too long before I started checking content out. And then I'm like, wait. Dark Knight is actually kind of an old movie by now. Iron Man Rise of Technovore. Ugh. I kind of am burnt out on, like, newer cape shit, though. Superhero content. I say cape shit as a joke, but I should actually not say that all the time, because it might bother people a little bit. But I just... There's so much that keeps getting pumped out all the time that it makes me not want to consume any of it at all, if that makes sense. Even if it's like, oh, this will be the best Batman movie that literally is everything that you've ever wanted, I'd be like, yeah, but I'm kind of burnt out from this stuff. I kind of want it to go away. Go away for 10 years and then come back, and then I'll watch them. I say that, but it's just a resistance I have. Maybe I'll check it out eventually. John DiMaggio as the Joker was really good. I thought he did great. At first, his voice was so different for Joker that I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I thought I didn't like it, but it grows on you once you kind of accept that, yes, other people are allowed to voice Joker. I liked it a lot. I thought he did great. DC fatigue. It's superhero fatigue for me. I will say, I think there's supposed to be a new Dredd show coming out. That's gonna have, Carl Urban in it. I'll watch that. I don't know if it'll have the tone and style of, the last Dredd movie, 2012, I think it came out. I'm hoping it'll be good. I thought that movie had a lot of style. I don't know if the show will be anything like it, but we'll have to see. Mark Hamill, Joker, no contest. Yeah, he's obviously the best and everything, but I'm open-minded to different interpretations. I mean, we have to, because he doesn't want to do it anymore. I don't like Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. That's like the nerdy fact I always gotta give whenever we're talking about Cape shit, is that I don't like Tara Strong as Harley. I like other voice actors trying to be Harley. Flower delivery. Ooh. What kind of flowers you got? I got a sunflower and a pink flower. Well, let's not talk about, like, dramas type stuff. Where I'm just talking about the quality of the voice. My favorite Harley Quinn voice, that's not the original voice. I always forget her name whenever I have to, like, talk about her. I'll never forget Michelle Pfeiffer's name for some reason, but I'll forget original, it's like Arlene Sorkin? Something like that? I like the woman who voiced Harley in Assault on Arkham. It's part of the Arkham game universe, and it was an animated picture. It had Troy Baker as Joker. He's great as Joker. I think Troy Baker's fantastic. He's obviously trying to sound like Mark Hamill, but he can't fully sound like somebody he's not, and I still think he does good. Iron Man Rise of Technovore anime film. Directed by Hiroshi Hamasaki, director of Shiguri, Steins Gate, Tex Holonews. It's very different than other cape shit and superhero animations. Okay, I might check it out, maybe? I'm open-minded. Arlene. Yes. What's her last name? Arlene, is it Sword? It's Sorkin or something like that? Who voiced Batman from the Arkham Origins? That was the voice actor of Chris from Resident Evil 5. I don't remember his name, but that's who it was. It was very distracting and noticeable. Oh yeah, Killer Frost in Assault on Arkham was cool. I saw that the art style for the second Suicide Squad animation was different. I don't know if that Suicide Squad is part of the Arkham universe and they just changed the art style, or if it's just a Suicide Squad animated thing. Because Assault on Arkham is part of the Arkham universe, but it's Suicide Squad in Arkham universe. I don't know what the other movie is. Hell to Pay. Same universe. Why did they change the designs and art style? Kill the Justice League. Cringe. Arlene Sorkin. Okay, so it's kind of right. Roger Craig Smith. Like Roger from American Dad? Unlimited was given zero budget and had to make up their own designs. It's pronounced Technolize. Okay. I'll say I loved the first 2 seasons of the Harley Quinn show, but gave up halfway through the 3rd season. That's another show now that I don't want to invest in. I mean, I didn't want to anyway, because, I mean, I just don't want to, it's an adult comedy starring Harley Quinn. I'm just like, eh. But season 3, and it goes downhill. I mean, maybe I'll disagree with you, but I probably won't. Because literally I'm always complaining about that. Anytime I like a TV show or want to get invested in a TV show, you find out that it just drops and gets bad and then has 3 bad seasons. It keeps going on and on. I'm joining Creature Commandos. Ah, that was what it was called. I remember I saw the trailer for Creature Commandos. I think the trailer just made me seem... The trailer made it seem like... Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Very quirky. Made me kind of not want to watch it. Even though I'm sure it's probably actually good. I don't like modern Harley. She's not even Harley anymore, and they perverted her friendship with Ivy. God forbid. The thing is that I think it was always implied that they were a little bit more than just friends. They just couldn't show that kind of thing on TV. Like, if I recall, I think the same thing was actually the case for Static Shock, the old Static Shock show. Like, Richie was his nerdy friend, the blonde guy with the glasses. Apparently, this is just what I heard. I think, like, one of the creators confirmed it in, like, a forum post or something. You can fact check it if you want. But what I heard is that Richie's actually supposed to be gay. But they can't show that on TV back then. So, if they do any hints to try and imply it, it has to be, like, really hidden. And you have to kind of do pseudo-detective work to be like, oh yeah, he did react this way when a girl hugged him, so you know, that's all they could do. I think the same thing was the case for Harley and Ivy, if I recall. So yeah, it's been a thing for a while, but because media is embracing certain things a bit more than it used to, like in more mainstream stuff, I think that's why they're pushing that a little bit harder, and I'm okay with that. I think it's sexy. Are you sure you're not just interpreting it that way, though? Because I understand, like, thinking, like, maybe it's, like, a retrospective thing, like, oh, this is in, we gotta pump this out because it's popular now, but it's possible that it was always meant to be that way. I speak as a girl who is kind of lesbian with all of my girlfriends, to be honest. That's why I can totally believe it, you know? That's what I heard. What I heard about Richie is that he's like an amalgamation of like 2 different characters or something. Did he say that they're not? Maybe he had a gun at his head and he wasn't allowed to tell the truth. Either way, I don't really think that that's a problem. I feel like it's a neat idea. I think it's also an extra neat idea if it's done in the context of Harley still has a thing for Joker, but she also has this girlfriend on the side. I think it's fine. What's wrong with lesbians? Creator of Wonder Woman was a very wild guy, which is a common case for DC comic artists. Isn't he... Who's doing the fart fetish comic? If that came out many years ago, nobody would have batted an eye. They'd be like, oh, how quirky and funny we're on to you. We know what feet and farts are now. We know what it actually means to some of you. There's something I was going to talk about the Harley Quinn. Oh! I do agree that, I don't like the characterization of Harley these days. What I liked about Harley, it's always balanced, right? And I swear sometimes people will interpret a character and they'll get the balance measurements off by significant percentages and just a little off balance and your character kind of completely changes to like people that are artistic like me. Tistic, not artistic. So, like, for example, original Harley in BTOS, she was like a brand new character created for that show, and she got really popular. She was very well liked. She was this... I don't know how to explain it. She was a kind of ditzy, but in a way, restrains character. She had this kind of, like, sweet innocence about her. She was toxic, yes. She did kill people, yes. But she was just so sweet about it. It's hard to perfectly explain what made her her. But I feel like in later adaptations of her, I feel like they go hard on, I don't need no man, I don't need Joker anymore, I'm like the badass Harley Quinn and I'm your manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. Or they kind of make her like, oh, she's like an ADHD hyper little kid. And I can understand where they would get that from a little bit, but I feel like they kind of went too hard with it. And what I'm specifically thinking of is Batman and Harley Quinn. It was an animated picture that came out a bit ago, and it's supposed to be, I guess, canon to BTOS. And I just couldn't help but notice that Harley felt a little bit off about it. It felt, the entire movie kind of felt like, it didn't feel natural, which makes sense, you know, it's been many years. I don't know if it's all the same crew, and even if it was the same crew who made the original show, they're older and different now. They might have different mentalities or whatever, but it just felt like very, like, fan service-y, kind of. Not fan service in, like, sexy, but just kind of like, remember BTOS, remember this, remember the good old days. It felt kind of like that to me. And it's like, remember how hyper and silly Harley Quinn was? And I'm like, yeah, I remember, and you're not doing it very great. Kind of felt the same way about, the exact same feelings I had about that Invader Zim movie that came out a bit ago. I watched it, like, right after revisiting the old show, so I was very refreshed on what old Invader Zim was like. Watched it, I'm like, kind of feels like a robot trying to understand what Invader Zim was like back then, and trying to kind of mimic it, but not doing it as good or well. And that's not even factoring in the art style. That's just how the writing, dialogue delivery, how everything felt. It's all just off a little bit. But there's plenty of people, I guess, who would watch the Harley Quinn and Batman and be like, this is great. It's just like the good old times. Or people that would watch Invader Zim movie and be like, oh my god, it's great. Just like the good old times. And meanwhile, my autistic brain is just kind of like, nope, this is wrong. You didn't do this right. And you try to explain it to some people and they'll be like, man, you're really, you just don't want to be happy, do you? Like, oh, she's the wrong percentage of funny. Oops. Like, I don't know. No one likes member berries. Better to make good content and be less lazy. Yeah, but we're so nostalgic. Do you remember this? The creators of Static Shock were at one time not a part of DC due to the comic writers being held to a different standard than other artists. So, wait, were they not allowed to be? Wait, why not? Why weren't they allowed to be part of DC? She was very sympathetic and had depth, also intelligent. Now she's dumb Deadpool who screws Ivy. There's nothing wrong with having sex with Ivy. Stop. You will love lesbians. Or bisexuals. You will love bisexuals. Or else. You will love the Harley Quinn fart comic. It's really funny. It's not a fetish. It's just funny and just humor. Wolverine's been gay, though. Like, I don't think that's overly new, either. He's got a thing with Nightcrawler. You don't want any more farting? Have you looked into my eyes, though, and followed my command? I told you, you will like fart fetish. You will like feet. Never. Never. Isn't there a comic where Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean had a threesome? Oh, jeez. I guess Sharon is Karen. Huh. Okay. Hopefully it was primarily Wolverine and Cyclops making out, though. They'd be like, you know what? We were looking at this the wrong way. It's not Jean that we wanted. It's not Jean who we should be fighting for. Should be each other. That would be sick. Wolverine was like I know Wolverine was into Jean in like the live action movies, and it was 80s animation, right? 80s, or was it 90s? Pretty sure it was late 80s? No, 80s. Not late 80s, right? I watched a bit of it. Was it 90s? Okay. My favorite part of X-Men was the part where Cyclops, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler had a threesome, which is a subtle nod to the fact that I might have torrented the wrong movie. Yeah, it's like, what is... Oh, I'm so excited! X-Men! Brazzers! Oh, wow, this will be great! I'll get my wife together and we'll watch it. Wolverine constantly kills the mood by shouting, "This one's for you, Morph!" No... I'm sorry your Brazzers link didn't work, Donudo. You may have to DM it to me later. X-Men has always been progressive, to be honest. It makes sense. I could believe that. There's also a comic where Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch... What? Disgusting! Could you link me to it so I could avoid it? The whole mutant thing is just an allegory. Yeah! Like, I feel like comics have been doing certain things for a long time. They love their drama, too. I watched those when they were new on TV. I don't even think I ever caught any episodes. I think I was too young. I liked... No. I caught episodes of X-Men Evolution, but I never, like... I don't think I actively watched that channel enough to really catch too much of it. I went back when I was way older, watched all of X-Men Evolution, and it's very, very entertaining. Very, like, junk foody, though. Kind of silly, like, alright, every new villain that we meet, they're gonna transfer to the same high school as the heroes. Like, huh? That's kind of silly. And, Mystique is the evil principal. And also Magneto is the second principal. The Ultimate Universe has Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver getting it on, and Magneto finds out, and I don't know what that word means. Gets angry at his son because he's so disgusted with it. What's his problem? Don't worry about that. Worry about your own trauma, Magneto. What they do has nothing to do with you, okay, old man? He's just so close-minded. There was a more adult X-Men show called Wolverine. I watched that! Was it a show or was... I think it was a show, actually. I was like, wait, is it a movie or a show? Wolverine and the X-Men. Wasn't that Frost girl into him for some reason? I remember liking it, but I don't remember adoring it or loving it. I remember it was like, kind of like a depressing world. Like, nothing was going right for Wolverine in that, I think. I need to rewatch it. Emma Frost... Oh, right! Emma Frost marries Scott Summers in the comics. She goes from a villain to the leader of X-Men. I wonder how that happened. The original origin for Mystique was that she was able to grow... alright. So, Mystique can grow... She's a Fuda. How horrible. Can you send me this comic so I could avoid it? That was the original plan for Nightcrawler. They brought it out again recently as the new canon. That's why it was so funny to see people getting mad over something in X-Men and blaming them for being SJW. My dude, X-Men was always based. Also, I think we gotta start wrapping it up because I just realized what time it is. We did a whole, like, 3-hour just chatting. Can you believe it? Mame is... oh, is she doing Souls? Oh, God. She's probably buzzed. I blame Storm in 20th century... Oh, dark skin and white hair is such a good look. I used to be so into Merrick from Yu-Gi-Oh! I still like whenever a character has that. The tan skin and they have like the bright, like blonde hair. Oh, it's so beautiful. Storm is I remember somebody mentioned, like, oh, Storm in the live-action X-Men is kind of like meh, like, in terms of, like, personality, like, who they chose for casting. And when I really thought about it, I'm like, yeah, actually, I never did like Storm in the live-action movies. But in X-Men Evolution, Storm is fucking amazing. And Storm in, like, the old 90s show. She had this, like, majestic kind of aura to her. Very majestic, very, like, motherly kind of, too. Oh, she's so cool. I love her. Is there a version of Pumpkin where the scalia of her eyes are black? You want me to become Mitsugaki Miku, don't you? I won't do it. I won't. I will not play Uno. I will not have a garter belt and put an Uno card in it. Hope you have a good rest of your night and a good tomorrow. Thank you. I mean, to be fair, it was hard to do Storm justice. Is it? I think there's plenty of actors that they could have gone to instead. I don't know why they went to Halle Berry. Is it because she was like... Was she already popular at the time? Or is Storm what made her popular? Actually, what is she up to these days? Does she still act? What's weird is that there's another actress with a similar name who played Ariel in The Little Mermaid, like the live-action one. And she has the same name, but she's like a totally different person. Let me see if I can find the one who I'm actually looking for. Yeah, alright, here she is. She's 58 now. Time really flies. Like, you get so used to being like, yeah, this person's like perpetually 25 years old forever. And then one day you find out that they're literally elderly now. Has she returned to X-Men at all? And she still kind of acts. Her last movie was in 2022. And she doesn't do that many movies a year. Like 2022, she did 2 movies. 2021, 1 movie. 2017, 1 movie. Yeah, she doesn't do that many movies in a year. But then again, like 1 movie takes like a lot of time to make. What was the last X-Men thing that she did? Oh right, she was in John Wick 3. I forgot about that. Days of Future Past. She's in that? Who does she play? Wait a second. How could she be... Hold on. Does this movie... It says Hugh Jackman, isn't it? Does it... Because, like, I thought, like, the newer X-Men movies were, like, prequel stories. Like, when Xavier and Magneto were young. So I'm thinking, like, well, you can't have Halle Berry be Storm in those because she would be older now. But I'm like, oh, that's right. Wolverine came back at some point. But doesn't he come back as just a cameo or something? Like he tells some, like not the newer Wolverine and Deadpool movie, which I actually kind of am interested in. Not that, but he came back for something else and did just a little cameo where somebody's like, Wolverine, will you help us? And he like flips them off and says, fuck off. He's the main character in that. Okay. I'm a X-Men Days of Future Past. Storm. I just want to see what she looks like. Sexy. I dig it. Someone else played Storm in X-Men Apocalypse since she was young. Let's see. X-Men Apocalypse Storm. Oh, Mohawk. I don't take the Mohawk, but I kind of prefer... I prefer Mohawks when it comes to, like 80s villain punk characters. But I think it looks good on her. I just, like, prefer, like, the big, bushy, like, lawn hair like she had in the original, like, 90s cartoon. I wasn't overly a big fan of Storm's haircut in, like, the original X-Men movies. They had a very 2000s look to them, from what I remember. And normally I like 2000s look, but I don't know. I guess I just have a certain idea of, like, how I like Storm to normally look. Storm, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Yeah, here. This, I love this. Storm in her all-white outfit looks super cool. It is a look. What does she look like in a... They have suits in X-Men Evolution. I don't remember how she looks in that. But look at this. I love it. Just big flowing hair. Very cool, iconic suit. White is hard to pull off, you know what I mean? Let's see. Storm X-Men Evolution. Oh my god, she's so beautiful! And her voice actor is so good. I love it so much. Hold on. It's a good show. I was having Mina watch it with me. Mina liked it for like the same reason I do, to where you go back and you watch it and you're like, wow, this is actually really silly, but it has a lot of soul and heart to it. But I don't think we got past season 1. I've seen all of it in my adulthood, so I kind of remember it, how it all goes. I think it gets better after season 1. I think like the other seasons like are better. Please Google Storm X-Men anime. Is it gonna show me that the Japanese opening for the old 90s cartoon? Storm X-Men anime. Oh, there was like a recent thing. Kind of reminds me of the Holly Berry, like the haircut style. Hold on. Pulling up now. It is a good look, but like I said, I don't want like a 2000s kind of haircut for her. At least I view this to be kind of 2000s-esque. Oh, Storm in a ponytail looks nice. Storm, I don't know what this one's from. It's such a tiny image, but I like this a lot. Hold on. This is nice. Storm X-Men 90s Japanese opening. Let's see if I can get a screenshot of what it all looks like. Okay, it kind of like has the structure of like a kind of pixie cut sort of, but then she also has like a ponytail. I like it though. It looks like kind of like the hairstyle I would expect maybe from Jean, but I'm no X-Men expert, so. Storm. I want to see Storm. Rogue is really cute in it. But can I get like a good clip of... I think this is the Japanese intro, right? Look at these babes. Ugh. It didn't save as a GIF. Hold on. Wait. Oh, no. It's doing that WebP thing? Oh, wait. No. It's because I used my extension and I saved it as a PNG. Because sometimes that's the only way to get, like, normal images to save. Cute. That, you know, that used to be a style. Like, see the kind of, like, helmet thing that, Jean is wearing? It's, like, something that covers your forehead and your jaw, or, like, the sides of your face a little bit. I see that pop up in things every now and then. What was that all about? There was, Spriggan? Let me pull that up. It's a old manga, anime, OVA. I would see this kind of thing. What is this exactly inspired by? Like some sport thing? Let's see if I can find like a full image. That's not tiny. No, like a sweatband wouldn't cover the sides of your face. This looks like it's from the newer thing, probably. Maybe. I think there's a character in Naruto that has something like this too. It's like a side character. Alright, I think this is like for the newer thing that came out. But this kind of helmet thing. Where it covers your forehead and the sides of your face. It's not covering his chin like it was for Jean, but what is this exactly? But I would see it here and there, that kind of style. But anyway, I think it's okay to, like, start wrapping things up. Otherwise, we're gonna be here forever. Boxing! Yeah! Boxing helm head thing. Boxing head. Yeah, it's boxing. That's what it must be inspired by. But anyway, I wrap it up. We're gonna raid into MAME. Want to thank everybody for hanging out with me for a rare Just Chatting stream. I'll do another one next year. You will like Fee. You will like Harley Quinn fart comics. And I'll plug my Twitter. This is my Twitter if you wanna follow. And this is Dollhouse Discord, where it's more talky, chatty, busy in there. But not too busy, don't worry, you won't be that stimulated. This is where we babble in the games chat about shit. I send paragraphs in there sometimes. Of course, no problem. And then here's my personal Discord, which is deader, and more crazier in there. More like, you're a cult member if you join that one. But if you want a more engaging, busier one, then Dollhouse. Having 2 Discords is crazy. So I did plug the Twitter, plug Discord, and I plugged Discord. The next time you see me, officially it should be next Monday. Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god. Next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm gonna be debuted my second character, Pumpkin Nanessa. 5 new costumes. My human form, Vanessa Hill. The slide and lore repeat, where I repeat shit about me and my characters and their designs and everything. A new overlay, which is literally, I'll spoil it from you. It's this same overlay but black. That's literally just the only difference. The game and overlay is going to be the same. I have to switch between the 2 per character. It's a pain in the ass. Wait, not that, ignore that. Oh, and then a new bedroom for Nanessa will be in the background. And we're going to be playing one of my favorite games, Devil May Cry, when it was still horror, because it was once going to be Resident Evil. Everybody knows that, but some people don't. Aside that, I'll leave this up because I might do another stream this weekend at some point, in between arts. So I don't want to delete this, assuming that I'm never going to need it again. But I do a teaser video, or show the teaser video showing what is to come. Unless it's gone. It might be gone. It's gone. It's so over. Where would I have put it? Did I delete it already? It's over. Well, you did technically see it earlier in the stream, didn't you? Did I not organize this by date modified? I so did. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to upload an image. I want to upload a media source. Wait, no I don't. I want to do it from... What's this? Oh. Let's swap it out.
He was once the greatest. You're the best reviewer there is.
It always makes it so big. Okay, remember guys. Pumpkin Nanessa. This Monday, I'm going to finally shut up about plugging this. Whenever I debut her, I will probably be her for like a solid 2 weeks or something, just Nanessa exclusively. And once I warm up into being Nanessa, then I'll go back to healthily alternating between the 2 like I used to do. Just like before. But we're gonna have to exclusively be her for a little bit because I haven't been her for quite a while. Actually, it hasn't been that long. I've only been this new model for Synth for like 2 months or something. But still. Oh, ignore that. But now we go and raid Mame. Raid Mame Meow, who's playing Dark Souls. Please be kind and gentle to her. I think that's it. I think that's all I gotta say. So, bye. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.